Futures flat to start here as we get going this morning. Coming off what was a very interesting day yesterday. Overall, the market ending the session basically back to the highs led by tech once again. That's Apple this morning. Not the case right now in the pre-market. Downside in a big way. Already forecasting a cut in iPhone 16 production. So we're back to basically 230, which was, if you go back to the pre-market, we just gave back everything that happened yesterday. Nothing significant until we get to 9:45 over here on the economic calendar. This morning we'll get the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI. ISM version comes through at 10 o'clock. JOLTS jobs data also at 10 o'clock this morning. That's always an exciting one for some reason. It's not really necessarily an important number, but it does from time to time move the market. So we'll keep an eye out for JOLTS data coming up. The first of three employment points. The big one coming up Friday with the non-farm payrolls. Overall, the market hanging out here, though, kind of flat to start things.
It is, Brendo, but lots to talk about today. The U.S. dock workers strike could absolutely be disruptive for the economy, guys. We're talking about the biggest such stoppage in 50 years, 45,000 workers, can affect the entire East Coast. Separately, Brendo mentioned the Barclays comment today about Apple and the weaker iPhone demand. That's going to be in focus as well. Meta and Google getting a pivotal upgrade from pivotal. I had to, Brendo. I had to. I'm feeling good this morning, and it's. I
mean, if you name your research firm that, you might as well just go all in with how you use that term. SMCI as well. Our chart's not going to show this very well, but yeah, we're way down here. What is it? 45, 42 right now this morning for SMCI off that split. Our charts again. Not going to show that split adjusted very well. Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of Fed speak to come, but who cares? Morning, guys.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wear Blue Day today, apparently. So everyone, hopefully you got the memo. No, Brendan's in. Yeah.
Is that baby blue?
Baby blue. Okay, yeah, Adara's got the green. Well.
I think the last time Adara
throw that in.
Green. The last time I think Adara wore green, I think the market did a tank. What it was the opposite, wasn't it?
It was, I think,
muted. Okay, well we're starting off with a muted day.
It was the day she wore the all red.
The market tanks
that was a problem. Like that was a market down day for 100%.
So the red is the correlation.
Yeah, just as long as Adara doesn't wear red.
Okay.
Or tell us, and then we can go short.
We have a special guest in the building today. All the way. We got to get. I mean, first of all, maybe you'll ring the bell. I don't
all the way from across. Of course, he's ringing the bell.
Does he want to go over to the green screen, or okay? It's Mr. Adam DeLuz. Everyone's wondering what does this guy even look like. Here he is, right there. He is. Hey, Adam, how's it going, Adam? There he is, right there. He's on the green screen. And come over here. Show everyone what you brought. Bring. You know, you can't. That. This is the thing. You cannot come over to the office without bringing over and ridiculous.
You can. It's just that nobody ever does. Like, look at all this stuff.
Pastries.
This is like, what is this? The 50 pack of Timbits, and then I don't even want to open up to see how many fritters are in there because then I'll start eating everything.
You see what happens? Now you come here. Now you're on the famous Randy mic.
This is it. Yeah.
You're in the spot. So how's your trip to Toronto been so far?
It's been fantastic, really. The weather's great. People are great. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone else. And yeah, just hopefully we, see another profitable day, really.
Are you enjoying Toronto?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we went to the game on Saturday.
Yep.
Wasn't the result we all wanted, but...
No, that's okay. It's been that.
They're not that good this year.
Yeah, I think they're like 60 and 100 or no.
Oh,
they're 70s.
That was
no,
Miami.
That was the White Sox.
That was Miami.
That's who we lost to. We lost to.
Oh yeah, that's right. We lost to that.
That's good. As long as you had fun,
you
got to see CN Tower. Anything you haven't done yet in Toronto?
Haven't been up the CN Tower just yet.
Ooh.
Got to do that at least once.
We've got to try that,
at least once.
So, yeah, we've still got a long time to explore. Went Chinatown yesterday, Kensington Market.
That's nice. That's nice. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, what did you eat? Did you eat anything in there?
Just dumplings.
Dumplings. Good. Got some noodles going on there.
Mexican tacos.
Is that a Yorkshire accent?
It's Manchester.
Manchester. Everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, Manchester's in the building. I am ready to get Oasis, hopefully, tickets coming very, very soon. That's Birmingham, is that where Oasis is?
Where you can get them.
West Midland? Okay, well, see Sharif.
How does Sharif know that?
Wow, okay. Ready to rock and roll. All right, yeah, someone said, I thought it was a Chicago accent. That's hilarious. Chicago. Yeah, I think it was sarcasm there, Adair.
Yeah, probably.
Adair is not the greatest at sarcasm, but, that's why me and her sometimes, she's like, is he being serious? All right, Adam, get out of here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Go put these in the trading room, and then Neil will go get.
Well, I'm gonna have one Timbit.
Oh my gosh,
that's a lot of chocolate.
That's a lot of chocolate Timbits, but I'll have one right here.
Just so you guys can see, you do it right when you got a lot of the chocolate in there. So
just like chocolate and old fashioned, they're all at the bottom.
I don't mind if I do. Let me just grab.
And Ramin's not here, so these will at least last more than 10 minutes. So that's good.
Ramin missing out a little bit. I'm just gonna.
Neil, take a few more.
Oh, I'm just a one of each. What? I haven't even eaten one yet. So I roll.
I just take one and throw it in my mouth.
Here, there you go.
So professional.
Thank you so much. Cheers, Adam.
Good luck on your flight back.
Good man.
No, the guy told him he has nothing to do here until Friday. So Adam now permanent resident at Trader TV Live. All right, back over to the desk so I can finish this.
That's a couch over there. That's
we do.
Available.
That was a lot of sugar, Brendo. A lot of carbohydrates.
That's a lot of sugar. Hide that because Ramin just said she's just got here. So Ramin is in the building or is going to be in the building here in a second. NIO. Some of these Chinese, great to have Adam here, of course. He was very quick to go on camera, I noticed there as well.
Yeah. He was. You could tell he was mentally ready for it, Brendo. He came here with an agenda.
He has ideas. NIO, I want to talk about some of these Chinese EV names 2 days in a row here. I mean, if you remember what happened yesterday, huge gap, faded that all day long. We're already starting to give this back a little bit, but here we go again, 3-4 days in a row or whatever it's been. What a couple of weeks here.
The Chinese EV deliveries, Brendo, got reported their Q3 deliveries. Fantastic look for most of them. Let's talk about it. NIO, obviously chief among them, already up 3 1/4 to start the morning. But what we're seeing here is a decided reaction to the stimulus by the Chinese government to spur EV demand. Let's talk about how Li Auto did. 53,709 vehicles delivered in September. That sets a new record. The prior July was a previous record. Zeekr as well, breaking that record, 21,333. XPeng coming in with 21,352. So fantastic look for all of them. They've been running, man. And Morgan Stanley had a comment about Chinese ADRs last week. They're bullish on it. We've made the comment about David Tepper going on CNBC on Squawk Box and saying buy everything. Obviously not advice, but there seems to be bullish sentiment right now.
Funny how that happens 3 or 4 days into the overall move. You start getting people on TV talking about it as well. It's worth noting, though, as you were kind of hinting at there, it's definitely EV related here today. There's PDD. I mean, you can have a look at JD, Baba, even nowhere near as positive as the EV stock specifically, guys.
Yeah, you might have noticed yesterday that the Chinese names came back down to somewhat of earth.
Has China been hot lately? Or?
But they have been hot. There's no question about it. Like Li Auto, this is going to look, all these are going to look pretty much exactly the same. But I think you're going to get kind of the point here. Super strong last week, although you sort of ended things. This one was range bound, like 25. Wish we looked at Li Auto, to be honest. It's not usually a stock we focus on. I feel like it's always going to be NIO and Baba and PDD, and Li bounced off 25 a couple times. Looked like it was holding a pullback early. Like it actually gave you the dip, hold prior in front of prior resistance, and felt like it was going to go again. But when it eventually lost this bid at 27, let's just say it was spectacular, and it got almost to that 25 level that we're talking about. So I think you have some obvious areas of interest here, like just above the 27, where everything fell apart. Obviously, that prior high, 2680, is now lining up with the pre-market high, which is hilarious. 25, if you like, the dip buys look pretty good. But this is a wide range that got put in because of this break. It was a $20 stock before. I think when you're looking at this, it's like only trade these things if they're trading at the key level where you want to make a decision. And it's not going to be a different looking chart on NIO. It's like the same thing. Gapped up, lost to support, and when it lost to support, it fell pretty much directly to where you would have thought. Lee didn't quite get to 25, but this got right into Friday's high, almost to the penny at 665 was Friday's high. I think it ended up closing at 668 in here. So right off of those lows, that's an obvious key number. I kind of feel like a $7 over/under on NIO today. If it can't hold 7 at the open, I think you retest that 665. If it holds above, you can try to fill in that gap. I think it would be a mistake to ignore the other Chinese names just because we got EV deliveries, which a lot of times don't even give you the follow-through that you're looking for. So yesterday, I kind of felt like Alibaba, if it pulled back and we had this dump day, it was going to get that 104. Well, I think today, if one more move back and it can get that 104 price, obviously the names have been good. And we had this talk with Michael Noss in the aftermarket show. You know, when you're looking at the Chinese names that are running, there's a difference between the ones that are a little bit more stable businesses that make money and like the Chinese education names. Those are the ones like the late runners that might be less forgiving on the way back in, I think. So I feel like Alibaba, in the midst of this dip, that 104 kind of speaks to me today. Everyone's looking at the EVs. I feel like that would be a good time to shake it up and have these try to resume. But I think it needs to get down to $104. This pullback is healthy in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to go up every day, all day, but you may. I mean, it's been doing that for a while. And NEO here, I think we might have just, I mean, again, to say that we topped out, I don't know. But, you know, to have said that we ran into some resistance up here, I would say 100%. I mean, you know, this $8, $7.50 area has been an issue, right? It was an issue from October all the way into the end of the year. We got a little bit of a bump to 9. Then when we lost it, we made that move all the way down to 3 change, right? So for right now, I think you're just kind of stuck right here between $7 and 8 right now on NIO. You know, for me, honestly, I like the short here, and I don't know if we can get any sort of a bump into this area here, 720, 730, something like that for NIO. I think you can go short. Sort of even against 750. I mean, you might want to use 760 as your stop out. You can even hold it all the way to yesterday's high. I mean, this is kind of the thing. When we've seen this happen so many times, the market gets so ramped up during the pre-market and then the fade is all day. Well, why did it do that? You know, like barring any better news coming through. And sure, we had deliveries. We had good news. So then why aren't we getting that kind of overly excited ramp up again here today? Sure, it's up 4%, I get it, but all we've done is really got back to where we were yesterday, like at 1 o'clock. So let's wait to see what winds up happening. I almost think it's a fade rate here at $7. I'd prefer 720. Let's see about that shelf right here. So that's going to be for me. If the market opens up and we stay under 7, let's go short against 720. If the market really starts to rip, let's start to build our short in and around 730, 740. So a couple different ideas there that we'll work with on NIO.
A few people mentioning DJT already this morning, trying to get back to highs right now, 17.25 after a huge day yesterday. Ran up even after the close, almost got to $17 after the close yesterday. Ahead of the VP debate coming up after, well after the close tonight, but later on this evening.
Always market moving. I expect, I don't want to call it fireworks, but I expect like a lively debate today. You got two guys on there that can talk up a storm, you know, whether it's market moving, entirely different. DJT, fantastic bounce off that low that it printed, Fabian, at $12. And we have been in an uptrend essentially, Brendo, since that 24th. I don't think we've had a negative day on DJT. So let's see if today's a sell the news event.
Yeah, I mean, it's already decently active here as well this morning. Over 1 million shares traded, guys, at 8:44.
I mean, I don't know that the vice presidential debate is as big of a hype event, but I think what's more interesting is kind of the dynamic that's been going on since the lockup expiration. Now, obviously, it's made a bottom since then. It hasn't really broken this long downward trend that it's in. I think that would more or less be happening here. If you were to kind of do that, probably kind of fit that the best right in here. Like it's doing it now. This would be kind of like the first day that it's breaking that trend. I feel like you have to throw out the ridiculous outlier day there and just try and connect the trend line this way. But so it's your first day kind of breaking out this trend line. Now, I thought in the 20 to 21 range was that fade zone. Pretty simple. Prior support, kind of where it tried to bounce last time. There was a fade at 21 previously. The 50 periods at 21. that seems like the spot where this would run into some resistance on DJT. So if it goes just like afternoon yesterday, sort of like if it went parabolic, I'd be looking for the short up there. But yeah, it actually looks really good when you pull up that trend line. I don't have any obvious long setups for it. I guess if it's like a breaker and runner, there's room to 21. I like a lot of other names to trade today. I feel like now that SMCI is underneath, we got some Chinese ADRs to trade. I actually like AMD more than Nvidia here today when we got the Apple news as well. Google's relatively strong. Boeing's breaking fresh lows. So there's a host of names that kind of line up before on DJT. But that 21 level, if it does go parabolic today, that's the one that I'm waiting for to look for the short. Going to pay for my locates because I actually forgot to do so.
Yeah, to make sure you do that one. Yeah, nice move to the upside. I mean, up 7%. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be debate related or not, but you did have some pressure relief last week when we heard about those two guys in that company sort of selling the majority, and if not all, they held 100 shares left, a couple million shares being sold last week. So I think that's taken some pressure off of the stock. At the end of the day, you bounce clean off that. We downgraded the stock to $10. It bounced off 12. So I still think that there's a move to happen back down in. I don't think this company is really worth too much. They did sign. I thought there was news about them signing a deal, not with YouTube, but with some sort of another carrier there for more advertising and more airtime. So yeah, I mean, I was actually looking again. It's pretty much back to like 50-50, the odds in the sports books and things like that. So we'll see what happens tonight about this. Obviously, I would think the Republican Party is going to have to win the election in order for this stock to be worth anything. And if you're betting on that, then maybe you're in the right name. But I don't know. You know, is it a fade there off 20? I mean, we've hit 20 now. Basically, there's 2 weeks ago where we hit it pretty much every day with all of those wicks right here. We hit 19 or 20 bucks every day before eventually falling for 5 or 6 straight. So I'd still say that there is definitely some sellers up here, especially it's, you know, signified by these wicks. Like it gets up there, right back. It didn't stay up there for very long. So let's wait to see. If anything, that clean top is 19. So I think that the short maybe starts in and around $19. So that would be something to look at. But as Neil said, you've got to make sure that you do have your pay for shorts lined up because it might be hard to borrow.
Cheap.
Speaking of Chinese names, there's this little one, DUO, that's on its, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4 days? Trying to make it 4 days. That was $4 at the high after the close yesterday. We almost got there this morning, but coming off a little bit. Yeah, 10% here. This is a 6 million share float, or 6.5 million share float, 15.5% on the short side. So again, China ties specifically real estate as well. So, and then there's this small float short percent.
And we saw what the Chinese central bank said yesterday with respect to mortgages, Brando. They want these banks to lower mortgage rates by October 31st. So what we're expecting is a spur in property demand, sales, whatever in China. It's been such a depressed industry there. Have a look at this chart. This is the 4-hour here on Duo. I mean, we were doing nothing, Brando. We were a penny stock up to a couple of weeks ago in that 50 penny area. Now we knocked on the door of $4 yesterday. I'm definitely going to keep my eye on this one. I've been watching it on the midday. Going to keep my eye on it today.
Another little one just popping up in front of me here. SGMT making a big move here this morning, already 35%. There was a headline on this, FDA granting breakthrough therapy designation to their lead drug candidate. So it heads up there as well. SGMT, that one also relatively small on the float, 51 million, 10% short.
Yeah, and I think that one's worth watching. That's always a pretty decent catalyst when you have the low floater. The Duo here, and again, not to ever mix it up with Duolingo, Fang, what is it, Fanged Network Group? Fanged?
Yep.
Because there's like 2 Ds. There's got to be, there's got to be a story behind this. It's like FANGDD. Whatever. I'm sure there's a reason for that, but we're just going to call it Fanged or Duo. And this is what we were talking about last night with Michael Lawson kind of just alluding to. You're going to have these kind of like ancillary names here that are getting wind of this stimulus in China, and when they're lower float or, you know, maybe it's short float. In this case, it's going to be a lower float, and they might just run ridiculously parabolic. These are the ones that would concern me on the way back in. Like this has already been like a reverse split special. Like, you know, the history of these when they do have the reversions coming back, you know, like reverse split and then just absolutely tank. So now you're getting a genuine run in here, but you have to remember again the history of these types of names, what tends to happen to them on the way back in. Like this can be a dangerous one in here for anybody. So there's nothing wrong with being in it and playing some momentum, but I'd be a little bit cautious with this. Trying to zoom out, see, there you go, so you can see the other reverse in there. Like this is just what it's done, right? Like done nothing, reverse, tank, get to penny stock status, reverse, tank. In this particular case, it's actually managing to go without a reverse, but the history of it stays the same. It's already pulling back a little bit here, so I think the usual make sure you play off support, don't get caught in down halts sort of thing. But that stock is exactly the kind of thing that I would not be a fan of chasing in this China stimulus. It's like as things pull back in, that wouldn't be the one I'm trying to dip by. I'd rather try to find a good spot for Alibaba than this duo.
We talked about this. It's on our sticky note, but yesterday people were asking about shipping companies and whatnot. And that was a good look by whomever that was, because today Zim, again, a shipping company here, huge move to the upside, now coming back in a little bit, down 5%. Zim trying to hold out $23, but there's another shipper there that we talked about yesterday. So join us with our watch list. You can get that description in the link in the description to sign up for our watch list to find out more about Zim, which we'll be talking about soon. All right, it's upgrade and downgrade time. It's Adara at the screen.
Buffett Nathanson giving Roku a nod. This one up about 2% here with this $60 price target. Next up, Ford trading quite nicely pre-market with decent volume. F here up 2.25% with the Goldman Sachs upgrade. We have Datadog getting upgraded by D.A. Davidson, and Meta with this upgrade and $780 price target from Pivotal Research Group. Pivotal also upgrading Alphabet, so GOOGL also on watch here. On the downgrade side, Fastly getting a downgrade from Raymond James. We have Citigroup downgrading HP here. This one down about 2%. General Dynamics with the Wells Fargo downgrade, and last but not least, EchoStar getting downgraded by Raymond James. We know they had that direct TV deal as of yesterday, so EchoStar still on watch here, guys, down over 3% pre-market. Lots of names to talk about.
Yeah, nobody's surprised to see Meta on that list. I'm a little bit surprised to see Ford.
Yep.
To be honest with you, yeah, like like just the other day we were talking about. It might have literally been yesterday, and then again on Friday we were talking about GM and Ford and pulling back and not necessarily looking very good in the short term. Roku on the top of that list looks like it could be a breakout at 80, but oddly enough, the volume is non-existent on Roku, so that catalyst is probably not going to do it, but worth keeping a look at. Like it just recently broke out a couple of weeks ago, held the 200 period, another consolidation up here. In the last time it did a consolidation break, it gave you a little something, then rejected the 200 period. This time it tried and do it over. But yeah, no catalyst in here to give you that $80 break. It's the weird thing to me is Ford, because I sort of thought Ford was going to be that 11 level that was so good on the daily for so long, looked like it's going to be that fade area here. It's turning into resistance and what is obviously a downward trend for now. Yeah, it might take that 50 period. I think, look, if this upgrade takes it above $11 into that 11 quarter, I kind of feel like that should be a fade. Would love to hear why they are bullish on it. But that's the thing, like you get the analyst notes like, oh, we're overweight this or blah, 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 or special list that. I'm just curious as to what their case would be for Ford, because it hasn't been looking very healthy. And if there's any weakness in the consumer, it's not like that's going to be any better for them. Of course, rates coming down is going to be good, so that's great, but it's not as if the stock has done anything since then.
Yeah, I was just gonna look at Ford as well. It just needs to break through this level. I mean, if we get that upgrade, so that's really nice. But what about 1150 right there on Ford? It's been really taking this 50 period moving average pretty seriously right here, because it didn't want to break. Finally breaks, has a huge move, like really huge, right? Like 12 up to 15. Pretty nice move right there for sure. $3 on 12, give us 25%. And then this happened where it absolutely got destroyed there. Bad earnings, negative talk about the space, combustion versus electric. Like what, they're not making any money in their electric unit, but their what is it called, Ford Blue, not doing too well, but their combustion side doing well, their hybrid side doing well. So we'll find out what that, like Neil said, we'll find out what that upgrade is, but look at it, just keep on hitting this 50-period moving average all the way down. So I'd like to see a clean break. And I think once Ford goes, it goes, right? So that would be a break of 11 and hold it above there for a couple days. If we can get that break, then I think I like Ford going a little long there, but it's not a super sexy stock and not one that you're going to get like, huge moves in. It's one that's going to have to be one of those snail moves back up here to the upside. But again, I think you can get more aggressive if you break 1150 right there. But a clean break of 11 and a hold for a couple days will get this sort of going, hopefully, and then maybe you get some more moves. But yeah, the 50 periods meant something. Hold through here, break it, nice move up, hold, and then it was pretty choppy here, but then a hold, break, and then this. So yeah, I think you're getting ready to go back up. It's always nice when you get the upgrade on your side. It's like not fighting the Fed. It's like now finally you can go long knowing that the Fed sort of has your back. And I think with Ford, more upgrades, the better to take this long.
In the first half of 2024, we were just talking about this. There's a new IPO that filed. They haven't, I can't find a date when it's actually going to come to market yet, but they filed to come to market. The Cerebras Systems, which is directly going to compete with Nvidia in the AI space. They're going to list on the NASDAQ for under CBRS. Sharif and I were just talking about what they reported for their financials. So for the first half of 2024, I see 136.4 million in revenue versus 8.7 in the first half of 2023.
It's not bad.
So that's a huge jump. I still don't see anything on the size of the actual IPO, but welcome to the jungle, I guess.
Yeah.
It's going to be CBRS on the NASDAQ.
Trying to get that AI, obviously, chip tailwind, Brendo, which is big right now. Let's talk about what this company does, who they are. They're run by a CEO named Andrew Feldman. He used to work for AMD. They valued at $4 billion in 2021 on the private market when they did an up round for funding. As Brendo mentioned, a net loss last year, they printed a net loss of 66 million on revenue of 134 for half the year. They're reliant essentially on one customer out of the UAE, Group 42, which is an AI-based firm. 83% of their revenue goes there, Brendo, and their chips are made by TSMC, which we know from watching AMD, you get kicked to the back of the line because Nvidia gets theirs first.
Of course. Notable individual investors also include OpenAI CEO Sam Altman in this one. So
big.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out, guys, for CBRS. Hasn't been that big of a year for IPOs, but the few that have, or a few notable ones that have come to market, have done decently well.
Yeah, the one thing about the IPOs that sometimes they signal a little bit of a turn. And I want to call it, obviously, you're going to want to go for the IPO when you're in a constructive market, right? Like everyone gets that. Like if you're not in a bull run, you're going to see less IPOs. It's been weird that we've had such a good run and you haven't seen too many of them. That said, the ones that we were expecting, I feel like, the Chinese, some of was it Xi'an we were supposed to get or whatever it was, but that's not a surprise they didn't come through. I don't wonder if we don't find a temporary top on some of the AI plays when these guys come to the market and maybe do a little bit of a bump. But we don't get to trade them for a while. Our focus is going to be on Nvidia and AMD, I think. That's where it should be until everything else changes. Remember, SPCE is trading post-split today. That's going to make it on watch. Yesterday was a strange one because Nvidia was weak. Obviously, we ran and then ran into a brick wall and then broke the brick wall. It was one of those things where we got to Friday's close and it pulled back. It didn't seem like it was holding on to a lot of strength. You were retesting and looking like it was about to break the lows at that 119 and then caught a bid in the afternoon. Now you're gapping out and over that key close price. So you have back-to-back 121.40 closes. That puts an easy over-under on that price. Back-to-back closes at that price. You go all the way back to 24th, same thing. So you got a level there. If it loses it, I didn't like support to 115. That never happened yesterday, so I think that's still going to be in play. But I kind of like AMD. Now, it's going to look exactly the same setup on the 15-minute chart on AMD. Okay, there's your close, there's your resistance. You're trying to hold above the resistance. The difference is this bounced off the 200 period moving average and this little breakout price at 162. So there was that top that just turned into a wick bottom on a bit of a dip. So you got the 200 period at $161, which kind of lines up with that high. That sets you up for a lot of things. If we have a dump, obviously I'm going to like the 161. But if we take out that top, it's kind of a bit of a blue sky setup. Don't know that there's too many eyeballs on AMD here, but I like that 200 period hold on the daily. So AMD is kind of on the radar more than Nvidia for me because of that 200 period hold. Like the bounce and run here. If the market's going to be relatively flat, I want a stock which is trying to go to some new prices, which AMD is.
Look, let's not get too silly here. All right, so there's nobody that's coming that's going to be testing anything to do with Nvidia's business or anything like that. Nvidia, $13.5 billion in revenues last quarter. The Cerebus, $100 million. Okay, so let's, sure they'll come. It'll be some great trading opportunities. I hope we can go long, but this is not ARM. This is the fact that Nvidia is even mentioned in the same name as the CBRS is kind of ridiculous. But at the same time, it's another competitor. We'll look out for more in the space. Hey, what's up, Randy? More banana time.
There we go.
I actually took Adam back there. I've already had my one potassium intake for the day, but I will keep this here and potentially
let it ripen
again and let it ripen. How goes everything, Randy? Still in the shorts. I like it. It's still short weather. I think
that weather. No,
it's getting close.
Okay, it's October. I'm just saying. Like, okay. I mean,
It's
it was
chilly.
it's
chilly.
under room temperature in the morning. That's cold.
Under room temperature. It's way under room
Well,
temperature.
that's what that's the litmus right there. You got the memo though. We're all wearing blue. Ford got an upgrade today by Goldman Sachs. We'll see now. Well, you didn't have to laugh at that. I mean,
well,
not
I
that
can
bad,
disagree,
is it?
but
okay.
it may not last for long. But
I thought you might.
But Ford might not last for long.
well, no, just the upgrade.
Oh well, yeah. The upgrade probably gets downgraded tomorrow. But
yeah.
Ford not looking good down here, Randy. 1050 right now, trying to hold out. I mean, we were just at 15 earlier on in the summer, and now it's down 33%. Like 15 down to 10. Not a great move there for Ford. We are not buying any dips in Ford, is my guess, Randy.
No, Ford and Stellantis, and they're having issues. But we're all patiently waiting for Tesla production delivery numbers. That should be an interesting tale. I think there's positivity there.
What color is your robo-taxi going to be? You going to grab a white one, a black one?
White.
No red?
No.
Just buy one for your kids, and then you just send them everywhere. Just get in the taxi, just get out of there. You don't have to worry about it.
Is it coffee time?
I would love a coffee.
It's coffee o'clock, yeah.
Coffee
It was
o'clock.
coffee o'clock 30 minutes ago,
Yes,
but we definitely like that. Thank you. Randy is that guy you see peeking in your window at night? I don't know.
Whoa, I don't know about that.
I don't know.
Easy on that one.
I don't know.
No diddy.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back over to the desk now. It's 9:04.
I think they massively overestimated it.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, let's get right into the overall market here.
All right, guys, 58.14 is where we closed out yesterday on the ES December contract. We closed decidedly above that 5,800 level. So let's see, number one, can we hold on to it? We're already a little bit lower to start the day. If we do hold on to 5,800, we're looking yesterday at that high of 58.25. That'll be our ceiling. If we give up 5,800, we're looking at that same support level from yesterday, 57.75.
Trying very hard. It's coming one of these days anyways. If you haven't done so, go down to the description of this video. Top link in the list will be the one to the watch list. If you haven't done so, click on that, enter your email address, and then you get that sent to you every single day for free. Has everything you need to know on it in the pre-market before we come on at 8:30. Yeah, Apple's ugly today, 1.2%, grinding along the lows right now, 230 trying to hold here. We've been below it a couple of times, but bounces back up. Some cautious, I guess, maybe some warnings of things to come here when it comes to the iPhone 16 production possibly getting cut.
Yeah, exactly, Brendo. Barclays chiming in today, basically saying their channel checks are showing weaker demand, specifically from a Taiwanese supplier. That's what they're basing a lot of this on. Both factors suggest to them weaker iPhone 16 demand. We've heard this before. We heard it a couple of weeks ago about the weaker than expected launch, and then, that was supposed to pick up. We also heard about production efficiencies from Apple, which helps with that lag time. So that's number one. Keep your eye out on that. Then they're talking about global 16 sales, looking at possibly a 15% decline year over year as compared to the previous 15. So they're going to maintain their underweight rating, Brendo, on Apple with a price target of 186.
When do we, I guess this thing has a decent distance to go here, guys, before we get into some significant support if you zoom out a little bit to a daily chart.
Yeah, I mean, look, 186 is an interesting price target on Apple. Because I think there's probably a few people that are going to be a little bit eager if we were able to see that price. Again, I have a weekly chart up just for a little bit of perspective on Apple. I would actually tend to think that they're going to get a battle out of from Meta, when it comes to the new devices, which is, I think Meta absolutely blew it out of the water. And, I was never really all that interested in VR and augmented reality until I saw that. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I think it's going to be getting to be that time. But the iPhone thing and the demand, we've been doing this dance for a little bit. And I don't disagree that you could go down today, especially because of where we are. But overall, in the long term, it really hasn't been too much of a concern. I think this could be at $200, and you guys can see on the weekly chart how that would just be right back in prior highs. You've already got support in there. Well, I don't think you're necessarily worried about in that regard. But here at the 233, there was already resistance going into this. We had failed that level 2 times before, essentially wicked that level. So it looked yesterday at the close. Obviously, you ended up closing at that 33, that was going to be the battle. And now you get this story that takes you underneath. So technically, it was looking like a sell over-under to me at the 233 level, regardless of this story, just based on that daily chart. So it doesn't matter to me about that story as much as the rejection of the 233 has me looking for phase. But if we see 227, it's weird that it's diddling in the middle, which kind of sets it up for if it breaks 230 and a half, don't fight this thing till it gets up near that top where the resistance has been, 32 to 33. We break down. There's been buyers, and you can see it along the line just underneath 227. I think that's where I would be waiting for. It's a pretty hefty move because you're already gapping down a little bit. But then you put into perspective, some of the reason that it's down so much is because of a late, almost $2 rally at the close. If there wasn't that buy imbalance, then this move down is only $1. And so I think that skews things a little bit here in terms of how far it appears Apple is down. Is essentially you just have the closing order flow at the end of the day, and then you have a pre-market gap on relatively light volume. So I think it's possible you could see the 227. I think we break out 230 and a half. I got to be very, very patient waiting for the 32, 33, because usually these stories are a bit of a trap here on Apple, and it's not always the best place to go. I feel like there's some really good setups in the chip names, to be honest, today. So Apple, it's on the list, but the prices, it's not at either one of those two prices.
Yeah, so this is the first time in a long time I think that we've probably had Apple here as a short sell on today's sticky notes. So we wrote it down here, Apple 231 short, looking short on the Barclays report of lower iPhone production, watch for early weakness but late strength. So what I'm trying to do here, and you can go find it at Trader TV, Sean, right now, 1,200 of you watching it. We also put out some other cool tweets earlier today, so go find those out right now, including I asked what people were trading. We're going to find out what people are trading. And also, big times earnings report coming in the next couple weeks, so watch out for that. All right, look, I wrote down 231. It's right here. It's the 200-period moving average. It's kind of where we were yesterday before we got going there in the aftermarket for some reason. Straight moved to the upside there, right into the close, I guess, and then fell down this morning on that report. So it gets going right there into the imbalances. We can't control what imbalances come out, but that put the stock up to 233. That was a false high, right? I mean, whenever you get going there in the last 10 minutes, I call those false highs because it's like when you open back up the next day, let's just say you opened to where you were at 355, you're going to show down $2. Like this thing just ripped up $2 out of nowhere at the end of the day. You have to take advantage of that if you're a day trader. If you're a swing trader, you need to take advantage of those pops, because if the story comes out the next day that's the other way around, I mean, you're going to get this kind of a movement down. So I kind of think, thank you so much, Randy, right there, the savior. What are you thinking? Bear, bull? Nothing really today for Randy. But just real quickly, I'm going to be shorting this name at 231. Prove me I'm wrong. That's all. Let's see what happens with Apple here today. Apparently, Randy, weaker iPhone production, so we'll just see if that's the case. I don't think it will be. Randy's out of here. He's got to take a call. But there it is. 231 is the 200-period moving average. I like it. A lot of volume. We've been holding underneath VWAP. I'm shorting Apple today, not going long unless, as Brennan mentioned, I mean, there's been some levels down here, but unless we get to 222 or even 225, which is $5, I don't think the story's that bad, or else it would be going down right now. So let's wait to see what happens with Apple. I'm shorting any pops.
Yeah, decent way to go. Downside potentially still. Google, on the other hand, trying to clear some highs here on the daily chart. You got to go all the way back to end of August. We were back to, what is this, 167, 168. I mean, this is one of a few pivotal research initiating coverage with a buy. So I guess it's the Analyst turn to jump on the Alphabet train.
Yeah, Sean was telling me that off camera today. He's like, they're choosing Google now. Let's talk about what they said, Brendo. Initiating coverage here on GOOGL with a buy rating and price target of 215. They're citing the dominant core search business, of which Google owns 90%. I think that's a figure that probably goes down. That is outside of China, by the way. 90% market share outside of China. They also have the potential to lead in the consumer AI use. Tell that to Gemini. Offer incentives as well to handset manufacturers and default AI placement. So kind of like what they were doing with Apple, basically paying Apple to be the default search there. And they also like the fact that they're number 3 in cloud, so more room to grow.
So you're not a fan of Gemini, is
I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. It was Piper Sandler and Cantor were the other ones late yesterday.
So, you know, Sharif doesn't like Gemini, huh? Yeah, it's like, it's the weirdest thing, because we seem to hear a lot about that. Tell us how you think. I have no issues with it whatsoever. And if you got issues with the chart, then you don't like trend reversals, really. And trend reversals are great, especially when they're to the upside. So look, lost to 50 period, keep it as simple as possible. There, and have a looky when you break the trend line, and now the trend line becomes a support level. You just recently broke out of that local consolidation. Let's just call it the 50-period moving average. But to me, that's a bit of a trend reverse on Google. Now you're breaking out the top. It's already taken this high, which is 168.5 here in the pre-market. But when you look at the body of a lot of that resistance, it's 167.5 anyways. So when you're looking for longs, that ends up being right around these pre-market support levels. Ignore the dark pool wicks in here of substance. It's like 167.75. That was this little bit of a higher low support. So yeah, looking for longs on Alphabet back into that level as the trend to me is reversed on Google. And that's where you want to pick things up. I have the early look on imbalances. I just want to make sure I had that up. Like every single day, it's like Neo. And I don't think this has actually been a huge deal on the imbalances, but if it claws back up over a couple of million here, that auction price doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense at 668. But we'll see. That's the only thing on the locator. I feel like at 920, it's the first day of the month, right? So you never really know. I feel like you might see a few imbalances and want to be ready for it at 925 when the NASDAQ ones come out. But Google, I'm only looking long. And that daily, to me, that's a trend line reversal, holding the major moving averages, dip into pre-market lows is going to be the setup. But just watch out for 925. You could see an imbalance here or there because it's the first of the month.
Look, man, we've been saying Google for a minute, so it's a good idea, as Sharif said. I mean, look at Google's daily chart. Doesn't look like any other ones. It's been straight up. You had a little bit of a dance there middle of last week, beginning of last week, where you hit around the 160, 162 area. But since then, it's breaking out. Yesterday afternoon, we had, a crazy trade if we would have took it through breaking 165. We talked about this yesterday afternoon. It ripped up to about $1.20 before closing. And now today, you get this another bump up. So right there, missing that break, we could have basically made that P&L number 1 even just in the last hour. So nice little move up there. I've added it. It's on today's sticky note. It's a big one. It's trade idea number 2. And I was just saying, any dip down again into the 200 period of 167 is great. If we can get yesterday's close of 166, even better. But you're not going to get those. So the market, unless we tank early, I think Google, I mean, it could be a profit-taking situation. There could be a lot of traders that went long on this break right here, 157, and now up to 170, thinking about getting out. So I wouldn't be surprised if we fade a little bit, but still 167 to 166. This is sort of the buy zone for me right there. So again, another name that we have listed right here on the sticky note, Google, 166 to 167. Really happy about it. Obviously, we've talked about this. It's a big part of my portfolio. I like the name and I like the action right here. Next stop for Google, 180. I think you can get to 175. I think you can even get there today if the market gets going. Either way, 170 would be a real nice break. And if you do that, you have some top wicks here to 174 with some closing pressures at 171. So I don't know. I like the long. I'd rather play dips right now. I'm not really seeing any breakout trades, so we'll have to wait for Google for that. I mean, 170 would be kind of cool because it's an even number. I just don't know how much oomph we get off of that level. So let's wait. Google, to me, seems more like a steady climber, although yesterday breaking this 165 was very aggressive. It just kept on going. We were watching this in the after hours. The futures, I keep saying after hours, in the PM show, afternoon show, I should say. And it just kept going. The market wasn't doing anything, and Google just kept going. So nice move there into the after. Let's see what happens now today. Good move up by Pivotal Research. I think it's a long. I've thought that my whole life.
6 days in a row here downside, meanwhile, for Amazon, coming back into very interesting levels potentially here in front of 180, which was support going back to the beginning of the year, essentially, for this in that tight range. Nothing significant today as far as news is concerned. RBC Capital Markets removing the stock, removing Amazon from their top 30 global ideas list. Others that were also booted include Pinterest and a few others, but I mean, we're talking about Amazon, but I mean, this is getting to a point where you have to seriously, I think, maybe consider picking up a little bit.
I agree. No, I do. And you and I were talking about off camera. I personally feel it's accumulating for a 200 break. It's been ranging. We call that the Bezos shelf. Just, funny on the show over here. Let's talk about this FTC lawsuit that they were able to pair a little bit over here. So Amazon won a partial dismissal of the lawsuit filed by the FTC, which obviously accused them of maintaining an illegal monopoly. Part of the FTC's claims was they were using anti-competitive tactics to dominate online retail, specifically alleging that their algorithm inflated prices for consumers by over $1 billion, despite the fact that Amazon hasn't used this algorithm since 2019. Amazon obviously argued, Brendo, that its price matching and Prime services benefit consumers. The FTC can partially continue with the claim, the parts of the lawsuit that weren't thrown out by the judge, but it's nice to have that monopoly monkey off your back.
Yeah, I was just double checking here as well for, we still have to wait a few weeks. Thursday, October 24th, it looks like we'll hear from Amazon. So there's still a few weeks to go before we get into big tech names for earnings. But yeah, banks coming up right around the corner here.
Yeah, look, we always get excited when earnings season comes around. But remember, we're just going floating from one to the other. What we just showed, what was just looking at on Alphabet in terms of the trend kind of reversing and breaking out. Well, I mean, Amazon's under threat of doing the latter. It made the bottom and is putting in higher highs, higher lows. It's got a channel that it needs to hold on to, about 183 change. Now, we talked about this with Michael. I love support and resistance, but when you get the trend line lining up with the support and resistance level, I think that just makes it a little more significant. So this 183 on Amazon, that's the line that needs to hold, or you close underneath that. I think you see the 50 period next. I think those are going to be good buy opportunities. Spectacularly 170, I would think so. But yeah, you throw in, there's going to be a lot weighing on maybe this name, the Walmarts a little bit with the shipping strike going on. So I don't know that I'm terribly bullish on it today. I just see that trend line support and say until it gets underneath that, it's hard to be overly bearish. You made the move back into the bottom of the trend, exactly where you'd be looking for a bounce, and it just takes one push, 1%, maybe a little bit more than that, and you're going to be testing that at the 183 level. That's I'd expect a little bit of a bounce there from a technical standpoint. But yeah, it's not going to be on my radar. But if it breaks the trend line down, like if it closes underneath that, I'd be looking short after the fact. But that's my eyeballs on Amazon here. That's about the only thing. Because Apple and Alphabet are online, and we're going to talk about Tesla next, and we've already gone over the chip names. I mean, Amazon's more of a does it hold a trend line and then act for me after the fact, which would be, I think, tomorrow or the day after.
I was going to look here at Amazon as well. You know, a name that we really like to trade, obviously, here on the show. But I'm with Neil. It just seems to be barcoding right now. It's not doing too much. I mean, I don't like the downgrade, obviously. But it's a stock that we've been buying. We bought some down here. We actually got a little bit out last week, but not nearly enough, as I thought it was coming up to 200. That was that shelf there that we had where Bezos kept on selling. And that was just a story was out. When that was happening, he was getting some out, obviously, on the way up. But then that huge move down. I mean, it was pretty big, man. 200 down to 160 again on earnings. Nice move down. But we did get that washout on August 5th. Seems to have been something. But again, 170, I don't know. I feel like this could turn around and get back down to the bottom there. It's had a huge run up. Yeah. If we break this 184.50, I do think we get back to 180. So I am a little nervous about that bottom right there. That's 184.70 from yesterday. Yeah. This is actually the market. Market's underneath VWAP and really starting to come in right now. These imbalances, I mean, I thought I had Benzing in my ear. I'm not really hearing anything about this. But Apple just had a nice move down too. I was looking at Apple there at 231 today as the short. I thought we might have got that off open. Nice little flush down on Apple, and obviously Amazon following as well, as some of the NASDAQ starting to lose its cool right here. So we'll have to pay attention. There's the NASDAQ. I'll just put it here so you can see it. So you have to look at my ugly mug. Down 0.1. NASDAQ keeps on falling down. So yeah, I'm just looking at this Amazon level from yesterday. It's getting me a little more excited. I think this could be a short on bad news, right? So downgraded today, looking to break that level. Yesterday was pretty bad there when the market got going. Then nice little recovery, but Amazon didn't really recover. Excuse me. It sure recovered, but it couldn't get going. I mean, it didn't break this 186.20. So I either like this short if we can get back there, or this could be the punch short of your day right there. We said we didn't like any breakouts. This is a breakout, but to the downside. This is a breakdown right now. 184.75 for Amazon. I think that could be a smash level, to be honest with you. So let's let the market open up. I mean, if there are some imbalances come 3:30, come 9:25, we'll see about some Amazon showing up right now. But it's all buys right now on the imbalance locator. So besides Stellantis, but everything else here, nice little buy. Pfizer's a buy. Neo, Rig, Nike's a sell. We have earnings there later on today as well. So yeah, we'll wait to see, man. Just a couple more minutes until these NASDAQ imbalances give us the way.
All right, let's get through Tesla here real quick. Big time levels coming into play now for Tesla, 265. On a daily chart, you got to go all the way back to the beginning of the year, hit it first there. We got below it a little bit before that. And then back in July, we topped out around 265 as well. Hey, guess what? We're right back here ahead of the robo-taxi event coming up.
Maybe it's the robo-taxi event. Maybe it's the Q3 deliveries that push this above those highs. Analysts are predicting an 8%, guys, increase in Tesla's Q3 deliveries. It's going to bring the third quarter to an estimate of about 470,000 vehicles, a little bit less than that. Obviously, the China market helping boost some of this. The incentives and the financing offers for some of the EVs there, which include the Tesla Model Y, have certainly helped. China, as you should know, accounts for about 1/3 of Tesla's sales. So keep that in mind. And the subsidies there have absolutely helped. And by the way, Cybertruck deliveries started in Mexico and on this side of the border. So could help.
Happy days for Tesla, guys. Do we get through this level here or in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, you know what? And I said this a few times into this move that I was feeling skeptical that we were going to actually break this before earnings and before the robo-taxi. But now all of a sudden, like that 270, there you go. That 270, it's so darn close. It's actually possible. But what's going on here in the last couple of minutes, I guess, lowered the probability some because Tesla fell right back into the 261. And remember what we were sort of saying about the run up on the imbalances, sometimes creating a bit of a false price area at the close. Well, if you take that the other way, like I look back, that it held 257 so nicely. Like if we dip, this is a long way of saying Tesla around in front of that 57 and specifically at that 58 zone, I think that's the area for the dip buy. And I'm not, like a lot of times I'd say, oh, well, if I like a stock and it can go to the upside, let's go to the previous close. But to me, I'm looking at that 58, 57 level and not up here at 262. So that kind of puts it in a bit of a no man's land here where it either breaks out 65, which at this moment feels like a resistance zone, or I'm just waiting for the 257 area, 58 specifically, because that's where it was when we broke up on the imbalances, because everything ran on the imbalances. And then 57 has been your support level. It just feels like that's a pretty decent gap to be filled that got created only by the imbalances last night. So it's hard for me to like the long up here on Tesla. It's flat. I feel like this could be a bit of a fade into that 257. The other EV name, which is going to load up here, we kind of already talked about NIO. I feel like if it can't get over 7, that's going to be a problem. Rivian is setting up here. It bottomed last week at $11. You know, we've been seeing this downward channel on Rivian for quite some time. If it pops, okay, great, $12 is resistance. You got some lower highs in here at 11.5. That clearly yesterday was a big price, 11.50, 11.50. Or you could just break down underneath that 11. It hasn't happened yet, but when it's at $11.25, it's in play. So we're pretty close to that breaking down the 11 and getting to the 10, which is the next line of major support on the daily for Rivian. They're both, I mean, Tesla and Rivian are both essentially sideways. Rivian's chart looks pretty nasty. If it loses that 11, I'm still looking short on it. It's been a short till it's not.
Oh, Apple, my 230 might still hit. I just canceled some of my orders because the imbalances came out, but
Yeah.
There isn't much on the imbalances right now. NIO Grab with a nice bid. Grab's actually setting up for a nice breakout. I think we talked about this. Was it Grab? Yeah, we'll look at this in a minute. I think this was a stock that we were looking at a breakout coming soon on Grab, so we'll wait for that. I just remember looking at that with somebody. Maybe it was Brian Shannon. We have him tonight. Tilray with us all on Marijuana News. Okay, Tesla. Look, Tesla's on the sticky note today. I mean, I like the stock. I like the 260 bid. I think if we can get that, that's great. Added to the list. I like it. Robotaxi, WFC's tactical list idea. I mean, again, with the market falling down here, this is an up stock today. We really like this stock. The problem is watching it off the open can be extremely violent. Like yesterday, 258 up to 265, back down to 258, back to 262, back down to lows of 256 again. So I don't know, like I'm bidding here looking at this 260 to see if we can hold. It's a nice even dollar level, 260. There really isn't that much there. I just think that if you're going to look at to trade this name, that's what you want to do. It's the 50-period moving average. We'll see if it holds this level of 260. So that's what I'm looking at right now on Tesla. Let's just see if it wants to hold. I'm bidding now 260. I have 3 orders out. Google buy down there at 166.50. Apple sell at 231, Tesla buy at 260. Other than that, we'll wait to see what happens. Only 3 minutes to go. Imbalances are out, but they're not super spicy. So there's not much happening, man. The biggest one is NIO. We talked about fading that in and around 7. It's already been there. It's down to 695. That could be a good look. 2.5 minutes left. Let's go.
All right, we mentioned the China strength continuing once again this morning, specifically in the EV space with deliveries coming through as we do typically get at the beginning of each month. That's a daily chart of NIO, big ugly red candle yesterday. We are gapping up once again this morning back to $7 here.
Yeah, Guy, it was really good from all the Chinese EVs. Li Auto setting a record with almost 54,000 vehicles delivered, I should say, beating the July record. You had Zeekr with about 21,000 and a half vehicles. Xpeng as well, 21,300 vehicles. It was really a beat for all of them, Brendo. However, the China stimulus probably has a lot to do with this. How much more stimulus is there?
About a minute to go here, guys. Thoughts on these?
I think it's a simple over-under for me at the $7 on NIO. And whoops, why is that? Oh, there we go. I felt like I was just looking at Google on the program monitor for a second. No, the $7 level was resistance in the late afternoon, and you saw it trend right down to fill in the entirety of the gap. It's already wicked it a couple times. I mean, essentially, it's setting up for like a fail break of the high to pull back into 665. And if it breaks out, I'd say above, I don't know, 710, I wouldn't be fighting that one to the upside. We didn't mention SMCI. Now, our charts aren't going to split adjust, but it's simple. Just take a 0 off, and then all the significant prices will make a lot of sense. Resistance in the the big resistance level yesterday was a fail, 425, so 42.50 on Friday, and then the lower high was 44.25, so 42.50 yesterday. So it looks like a bounce and then a bit of a head and shoulders with 42.50 being the key price. It's currently trading just underneath that, so pre-market highs are at 42.50 on SMCI. That's where I'm looking. Well, I mean, now it's already starting to fall in here, might go red, but it was looking pop and fade, that 42.5 zone. With under 30 seconds to go here on a Tuesday. I was going to call it like a turnaround Tuesday, but no, the market's not doing much.
I was going to call it Thursday.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that would be pretty quick. We don't want to be at Thursday already. We got some trades to make here in today. So let's get this party started. The Bell brought to you by Firefly Neurosciences, revolutionizing brain health. Let's go get it, Adara. Ring it in 3, 2, and 1.
All right, let's see what winds up happening now. It's 9:30. Welcome to the jungle, everybody. Let's see if this water is warm or not. Right now, Google is making a move. Just down to the 200 period, 165, 167.50. We're going to watch out for that play off the open. A name that we wondered about breaking into the open would be this level right here, and it's doing it right now as we speak. Sorry, that's... Wanted to do Amazon. Like, again, the chart. Come on, chart.
Apple's
falling down. Yeah, 229 break. There's Amazon right now. Breaking yesterday's bottom. It's done. 184.67 right now for Amazon. Nice little break early. We sort of thought that would happen. We didn't take it. But then there's your Apple as well, Neil. That's starting to go down. So a couple shorts that we liked early starting to pay off, but we're not in them.
Neil tanked.
Yeah, maybe just got a short Apple 230s or so, but 229 coming back upside now for Apple. That's the 50 period moving average. That could be something. 229, 230.
Yeah, I feel like it's the whole like don't chase mantra is going in there. So Neo doesn't pop to 7. It just drops to 680 right away. Obviously, Sean already mentioned Apple, which is coming down. Ooh, it's not a New Zealand stock, which is coming to the downside. Look, I'm just going to go ahead and cancel the 32 offer because if it goes to 32 in the next couple of minutes, you guys know what that means, a pretty hefty reversal there. AMD's trying to break out the top as we speak, so I think that 165.60 level breaking out on AMD could be the first thing that comes in, which is kind of weird. I felt like we were going to be short things first. So Apple... It's going to require patience because where to get in, I'm not totally sold on where I want to short this one if it's not going to make the pop. I mean, 230 VWAP, this pre-market level here, 230.5 is going to make some sense. But if it doesn't ever bounce, what are you going to do? We'll just have to find a way to get into it. I didn't mention Intel. If Intel moseys on to the $24 level, okay, Intel's going to get there. Intel up 1% already. Yesterday, that top was right at the 24. So we're about 1% away from this already. The market's going down and Intel's going up. Go figure. But that 24 level was the big reversal yesterday. That's coming in pretty hot as we speak.
Yeah, we wanted, good call there. We wanted to try the Nvidia long at 122. It's really the only thing that I'm seeing right now. I mean, Google is absolutely on fire right now. Starting to head up to the upside, 169 and breaking higher. I mean, we had this one, dude. I mean, we were at 167. Thing is, it only goes to 167.50. It's trying to go as well. We'll give Nvidia a little bit of room here. I mean, that 200 period, we're into it relatively early. But again, here it comes right into that 200. We're not even out of the money on this name. It's Apple that continues to drop down. It's Google taking out 169. It's Nvidia dancing around a little bit. So it's really Apple was the mistrade. There goes Apple. We knew about this short. We talked about the iPhone there. Production cut there. Barclays. Nice move to the downside. Nice move to the downside here on Nvidia. It's about time we start to average in if we're going to do anything on this name. But let's go a little bit closer in and see some levels. We wrote down 120 was a great long. We didn't mind the 122 break early, but there it is. We'll buy some down here at 121.50.
Yeah, it is what it is. Gotta be honest. Like nothing has come in to fill yet. I mean, if we already said if Intel gets to that 24, that's going to be a bit of a look. Apple is really just cratering at this point. Finding a way into it's going to be at least interesting to say the least. Tesla's coming down and just tagged 261. That could be spicy, but nowhere near my support. And then this happened on Rivian. So it broke 11 very, very quickly. It's hanging down here. Going to play the simple over-under. If it tries to break back above 11 even and fails, then I'm going to look for the short back through. But that was one heck of a dump. I was expecting that would be a middle of the day kind of thing, not a 9:33, Rivian's already taking down $11, kind of like Apple. So I'm not going to just rush in to short the bottom here. I'd like to see this 11 hold underneath. It bounced off 1097 or 1098 the other day. So if it bounces off 95, it wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world.
There's a number?
What do you say?
I don't know if Fabian says.
Remember, like, and subscribe.
Oh, remember, like, and subscribe. Yeah, hit the like and subscribe. All right, so only 4 minutes into the market right now. Tesla makes that move into 260. We're waiting there for a little bit lower than that. We sort of talked about why we like that Tesla level at 260. Kind of a random one, so if it does break it, we can get out. But we're going to try to buy some 260 quarters maybe on the downside there for Tesla, as it is continuously moving lower, as is Apple. Apple looks like it wants to take 227. We should have actually hit that 228 short. The other short that we wanted was Amazon 184.70s. That's right here still. The only long that we really liked early, well, I mean, I'm in Nvidia. We'll have to let that one settle down a little bit. Google also pulling back. So look at the market. The market's really getting pumped here, man. Down the downside, down now 0.5%, and honestly looking to go lower. So this is not a great little look here for the broader market starting to go a little lower. So let's just wait to see if there's something that can catch a bid. We're still long Nvidia, which is actually holding out fine right now, but yeah, that's trying to drip out as well. 120, 130. We're long at 120, 190 right now on NVDA, but all is well.
Yeah, with the market bleeding, I mean, not bleeding, with the market heading to the downside, I should say, bleeding is just an overstatement. Google actually pulled back into 168, so put in a higher low. If we're going to get 167.5 again, that's probably not going to be the best thing in the world. Was able to just get some VWAP out there. I'll zoom out so you can sort of see. Higher low, VWAP, pre-market high. Want to see if we can carry this into the high of the day. This one's holding up well, right? Like anything that's still green when the market bleeds like this, I think is going to be a good thing. I did jump into that Rivian. It got back underneath $10. Checked that $11 and I got 98s. So one long, one short. But really, the question is for me is what even to do with Apple? It did get to that 27, I mean, right quick. I was expecting to be short into this by the time it got there. And we have no such short. So still waiting for some kind of a consolidation or pop to set up an entry. Intel already reversed to red. Didn't get to 24, got to 23.72, so not nearly close enough that I think I would have had a short trade in this one. But yeah, if we do get back up there, it might not look as good. So just two positions, one long, one short. So long a good stock and short a bad one.
Yeah.
At least that's how it should be. Although Apple's a good stock, and I feel like should have been short that.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about earlier that we had on our sticky note the Apple short, and unfortunately, we didn't really do too much about it. I just heard in my ear that like Iran was trying to schedule a ballistic attack here.
Well, that sounds
so that's not going to be
like
good. So we'll get out of some Nvidia. We bought some 121 lows there. We're taking a little bit out on a bump up. We don't need to be stuck into something if there's going to be like political unrest and all. Well, there already is political unrest, but if these kind of stories are going to hit, that's not great. So obviously, I don't need to tell you guys that. Let's just wait to see what winds up happening now with Nvidia. I do have some offers upside a little bit more, 121.59 or so coming on Nvidia, but it's Apple right now that continues to go down. The whole market's going down. What's up, Adara?
oil.
Regards to the Iran situation, we have an Axios reporter saying this has been circulated on X. This is one reporter from Axios saying that they were told by a senior White House official that U.S. has some indications that Iran is preparing to imminently launch a ballistic missile attack against Israel. So again, this is coming from an Axios reporter who heard it from a senior White House official saying the U.S. has indications. So this is not firsthand knowledge by any means. Seeing this circulated, though, from Twitter, again, Axios reporter hearing some things about a potential Iran missile attack, guys.
Man, we should already be, I mean, we've missed a couple of trades, man. We should be short Amazon. We should be short Apple. We've talked about that. I'm actually going to cancel my Tesla bid right now as that's coming into 260. And we're not going to average into too much more of NVIDIA. Let's just wait to see if we do get that level that we were thinking about for NVIDIA 120. That would be sort of the last line of defense for me there because honestly, like we said, this political global unrest, not great for anybody, especially the stock market. So let's just give it a little bit of room here. If we want to buy NVIDIA, great. But I think we might have to flip over to the short. The market's really coming in. I mean, we wrote down TQQ 71 longs could be in play. Well, I mean, the market's now down 1%. I mean, almost down 1%, 0.75%. Look at that 71. We did not sit there and take that. But this was a level that we had written down. I did like the support, but here it comes, man, breaking lower right now. The NASDAQ just took down 20,200 like it was butter. You're down to 20,100. I mean, the market don't like you, right? So you got to have
Not even a little bit.
Yeah, you're going to have to try to defend some of these levels, and the market goes downside. There goes Tesla breaking lower as well. Not a good day for longs, that's for sure.
No, and Alphabet's looking like it wants to take out that bottom as we speak. So there it goes. It actually just took it out. So there's the flip to the chart. You're losing support. Google was one of the strongest stocks out there, at least in the first. I mean, for all of the pre-market, really. But now it's starting to give it up. Really only found ourselves into one short. That's Rivian. It broke that 11. We're able to get it at 98. I'm trying to get some out at the 80s. If you're looking at the chart here on Rivian, there's a pretty obvious. It's $10.11 or whatever. Like, it's an obvious level down here. So if we get to, I think you get halfway to the 50. It's like 11 to 10.50, and then 10.50 down into 10 even. That's bleeding here. So pretty much everything is headed to the downside. So Intel, we're not going to get 24. You have to change your plan of action a bit here. We're not going to get to 24 necessarily. But with the market heading down, this actually didn't break the pre-market low. So I'm going to keep an eye on this because for whatever reason, Intel doesn't seem to want to break the pre-market low. It's weird, but that would put it into at least a bucket of strength. If it can hold on to that, maybe break out the top just for a bit of a change. Tesla, I liked 257, 258 area on Tesla. Again, I thought that was going to be like a middle of the day kind of thing, to be honest with you, everybody here. I feel like that's going to come into play here. So let's let it calm down a little bit. Market is absolutely bleeding. I only have one position short. I don't want to chase. I'm not chasing any shorts at the bottom here. Doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. For anyone watching DJT, I paid for the locates in case it scrolls to 22 or $20. Well, that's not happening either. So, yeah, we're going to have to pack our patience here. We'll hold on to Rivian because at least that's working to the downside. And even SMCI, right, not split adjusted, the chart. There you go. SMCI immediately tagged that 42.5. So you would have had a chance at that if you were super, super quick and heading back up. I think maybe shorting pops in here back into 42 could at least set up. But underneath 42.5, looking short on SMCI still. You had to have that within seconds of the open.
All right, guys, so far, let's hit the sirens right now because there it goes, man. Nvidia, we finally followed our rules. We got long down there at 120, and you can see now starting to make the move upside a little bit here. Our best fill is 30s, so it's not like it's a huge fill. We just got some out in the 50s and then 60s. So dipping around right now, we are into a baby position as well with Google as that's starting to come down as well. We're just trying to buy some of these dips, but right now, man, the market is in free fall mode, down now over 1 or close to 1%. What's up, Adara?
Little bounce here for repeat runner Static Labs. This one down still about 55%, basically announcing here a strategic pipeline prioritization. Now this will include discontinuing one of its clinical programs. So this, I guess, a bit of an upset as part of this larger strategic pipeline prioritization, but STTK recovering pretty nicely off the open. Also worth noting here, you've got a short float of about 13.3%, guys.
It's not nothing. Wow, Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, let's just start cut some of this bleeding down a little bit here. We are getting some more out of Nvidia. Remember, our Nvidia long was 120.50s. So that's where we were stuck long at, 121 and change. Now we're at 120.70. So our long was 121. So what I was getting at was if we break 120, that's going to be $1 hit. So let's just take some out now for 50 cents of a hit. Then if we can get back to the upside, we can start to make a little bit of cash on this play. But right now we're into Google down here at 166. Let's take a little bit more. Again, I like the stock down here. We talked about this as a key level coming into play. Tried to break out yesterday. If you're going to look at what we did yesterday, that's the close. So I don't mind this level. Let's see if we can buy it. Nice dip down on what stock I thought was strong. So let's make sure we're wrong if we're going to be wrong. Nvidia is making a move back up. So we're getting closer and closer to sort of this one turning around. But my day is just on these longs. So right now, we'll sit in them for a couple minutes. I believe we got some numbers coming through today as well. Let me just double check that. 945 global manufacturing PMI. So that's just in a couple seconds. So that's going to send this tipsy-turvy as well. Right now, Google will try to buy this long and see if it can work. We're long at 166.68.
Yeah, so I took another leg out there, Rivian. It just bounced off the three-quarter mark. But don't sleep on what's happening with the oil names with that headline that was just given. Indo just ran. It's now up 23%. You got Oxy going and Oil itself is making a move to the upside. So these are probably going to squeeze and when you have this kind of geopolitical event happening. Daily chart's going to show you this is like the levels here, $3 and the 280 level. I don't like chasing anything, but if this does give you any kind of a reasonable dip, it feels like that will be a good trend to join. A lot of times when you look at the oil names for the day trade, something like this, which is a bit of a low float runner, can be good. Apple is trying to go, but it's not having a very good job of it. I think we're just about to fill in that gap. I might have just gotten a bit too picky. I'm glad you're in Google because Google filled in the gap. I went to go bid the 25s right on the bounce, did not pick it up. But it is now bouncing. So you lost the pre-market low. I'll wait for the 166 to come back in. The only thing I've got is Rivian, which just made another bid at the 1075 level. So looking for 1050 here, but it's catching a little bit of a bid. That's the one short that worked out nice and well for us. Let's go to Adara.
Just waiting here on a number. We have at 9:45 the S&P Global Manufacturing print. This is going to be the final print for the month of September for this metric. So we're seconds away from getting that number. Forecast of 47, previous print here, 47.9, coming in at 47.3, so slightly above the consensus end forecast here of 47. S&P 500 not reacting too much to this, still in quite a downtrend, trying to find a bit of a bottom here. We also have, worth noting, if you're looking at some of these smaller names, NFE running right now. Near day's highs up about 17%. It's already halted once today. New Fortress Energy completing this $400 million offering. They do also have a short float of about 22.3% and a market cap of just under $2 billion. So a bit of a larger company, but notable short float for NFE.
Now, good idea right now on Google, man. Let's put that money in the wheelbarrow right now and get going. You know what we wrote down on here, Adam? We wrote down 166 to 167 is what we wanted. You know what our average price is, Adam? 166.50. So that's exactly what you're trying to do as a trader. You want to write down levels. You want to take the levels that you see. You want to believe in them, and that's exactly what we did. So now we're long, 50 cents in the money. It's your banger trade of the day. It's a chicken dinner winner right now. And then Nvidia is trying to go as well. We just got a 121 fill before that number came out. So we did pretty good, man. We're going to still be red because of Nvidia. We need this to get going a little bit more. But Google is a big-time winner right now today. Again, completely off the sticky note. If we had just been patient and waited again for 120, oh boy, would we be laughing right now on this guy, Nvidia. But we didn't. We got too caught up a little early, so now we need to have this name continue to go. All right, I'm going to take another piece out here on Google as it looks like it's trying to break through 167, but keeps on bouncing. So let's see if these futures want to make it sing. But right now, man, it's a good day. What turned out to be a little nasty early, starting to really print me now. So it's a good day here. Nvidia only a dime in the money. It's Google 30 cents. One more piece up here at 90s. Then we'll see about, hopefully, there it is. We just got something out. We'll see if we can get another fill now. 90s, that's what it was. So Google, now 167.20s is where we're targeting now to the upside. Let's see if Google can break through. So far, so good here today. Red on Nvidia, nicely up on Google.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. And got first position in SMCI. Kind of made that move off the open. One crazy wick. It's real. Like, it's not like it didn't go up to that 42.5. And then wick the top. It's back underneath. There's your lower high. Going to give it to the pre-market top here on SMCI. As we said, there was a bid happening on Rivian. So first bid is going to get out underneath 4160 at VWAP, as you guys can see there. But Rivian, there was a bid, as I was mentioning, at that 1075 price, right? So we got most of it out there seeing that bid. If it can hold on to VWAP,
bye-bye,
then we like it here. Maybe again underneath the 11 level. SMCI starting to head down, but oh yeah, it could have broke VWAP and did not fill me. So let me just move the bid a little bit. Want to get the fill. Like, it made the move down. I don't want it bouncing all the way back into the highs. We want to get this out down into the 41 even level because $410 was a big price. So then $41 becomes a big support level on SMCI because of the split. So only in a couple of shorts is the market's headed to the downside, but it's the one that got away, and it's Apple. Like, when the market just bounced, I'm like, okay, Apple's going to come to VWAP, and we're going to get a chance to trade Apple here off of VWAP. But no, Apple just went 30 cents off the bottom. That's it. After dropping $3, the bounce essentially non-existent on Apple. Let's go back to Adara. So we're short SMCI, short Rivian, no Apple.
And I hear on Futu Holdings, FUTU. This is one of those Chinese ADRs that's benefit from that recent rally. Great move off the open. This last 3-minute candle here, very strong with volume. No news on this beyond the ongoing Chinese ADR strength that we've had as of late, but just some facts. Just under $9 billion market cap, so not a very small market cap. Also worth noting here, got a short float of about 5% for FUTU.
Right now, there goes Nvidia. We're long at 120. We talked about that. It's at 120.30. It did break, and we got stopped out of that trade. So let's just get some more out now and just try to, like I said, man, let's try to get this bleeding under control here. Hopefully, this could go back up. No more getting out of Nvidia until we can get this high again, 120.80 or so. Let's see if Nvidia will go. We've already taken a hit on it. So we're going to be red on Nvidia today. We're going to be up, obviously, on Google, as we don't have any ticks lower than where we've gotten in. So we're going to have to wait for a 166 test again. Like, hearing in my ear again is like something about Beirut again, and Lebanon, and all these strikes start happening. So it's not going to be great for the political wins today and uncertainty in this world. So I feel like the short, that's part of what's kicking this market. I mean, it's a huge downside move right now, down 1%. They do not like uncertainty. Even the ES right here, down 0.83 as well. So I feel like we need to be flipping up into the short. I'm going to try the long one more time right now, as you can clearly see. But then I think it's the short show. We're going to have to think about doing that a little more. I'm going to put an offer now. I'm just talking myself out of this. I'm going to get a little bit out more out here at 120.23. Maybe we can do that. But here comes the dip in again. So we got stopped out the first time. We bought it back, able to get some out in the 40s and 50s. So that was profitable. But here comes Nvidia right back down again. So let's not lose everything just because we're long on a market that we know we probably shouldn't be. So we're going to get more out here, or all of it out, once it breaks this one last time through 120. That will be that. And Google's fading into 166. So we're out of more than half of this. But is this a reload if we're thinking that negatively in the market right now? I'm not so certain about that. What's up, A?
As we push to new low of days, a couple updates that I'm seeing with regards to the geopolitical situation in the Middle East. I'm seeing a couple different headlines here online with regards to what's happening in Beirut. I'm seeing one headline here, Israel military saying it's targeting Lebanon's capital, Beirut. I'm also seeing that it's already conducted a strike. So either way, Israel looking to target Beirut, Lebanon. Either they have or they're looking to, from what I'm seeing. Again, as I get more details, I will let you guys know. But we just made a new low of day here on the S&P 500, guys.
It's not going to be good.
Two things. One, that's a very big difference between already targeting and already done it. But look, Indo is making a break of an attempt to break out the high. It pulled back into VWAP. I grabbed that off VWAP. That's the long that's not concerning me right now because being an energy-related name, it looks pretty good at this point. If it can break out 3, I'm holding through 3. Whether it halts or not, I mean, it's done it in the past, but there hasn't been a halt so far this morning. It's actually been relatively, what's the word I'm looking for? Like non-parabolic. Like it's a pretty reasonable move. No halt up on Indo. But I got Google the second time. The first time it gave you the bounce into 67, I should say. This time, if we can't hold on to the 66, we're just going to get right out because the market is headed downside. SMCI, we rang the register when it got down to 41.5. I'll have to keep doing the zoom in, zoom out for you guys there. But when it got to 41.5, but look at that hold the higher low. So this is the market. This is SMCI. So yeah, lower high and the short gives you underneath 42 to 41.5. That's a little too much strength, relatively speaking. Other things are bleeding at the bottom. This is kind of just chilling out in the middle of the range. So no reload for me based on that. If it breaks the bottom, we can hold a 41. But I'm not necessarily liking this. Like Google just broke 66. I got out of that. And this doesn't seem to want to fall as much as everything else. So Rivian will hang on to. That's still looking as weak as it was before. Apple continues to break lower. Indo is just going with the oil names, right? So it's just like the oil names are going. Indo is a low float oil name or energy name.
Hold on, we have a new position. Alibaba. We just shorted Alibaba up here at 108.50. We tried to find a name that was relatively strong into a weak market. So I wanted to find something that we could short in case this was bad. So right now we're short 108.50, making some money back off these horrible longs. And there goes Google. There goes Nvidia finally breaking that 120. So we are now out of that one. That will be a fail, man. We'll flush ourselves down the toilet on that one. Google's holding out, man. We're just long here at 166.37, but it's a good thing we have 40 cents now in the money on Alibaba. So that's saving us a little bit here. We're bidding 108.13 now as well. There it is. Yes, sir. That's a good trade right there on Alibaba short. But Nvidia long is what's hit us. It's now back above 120. So we're going to have to let this settle down. Let's see what happens with Google. What's up, Adara?
The market pushing lower, but some small caps still pushing higher here, including UNFI. This is United Natural Foods. It's a Russian company. I'm seeing about $1.2 billion market cap here. They did just report earnings beat across the board, including unexpected profit. Their guidance was a bit weaker on the revenue side. Regardless, UNFI with a 6.6% short float pushing higher here with pretty good volume, guys.
Break did happen on Indo through $3. It just stalled at the 15 level. I just took some out at 10s, but you're still trend up over there on INDO. Look, there's a lot of other names that are making some power moves now. Indo's just like it's a small cap that's running. Oxy's up 1.5% and continuing a big break up. If Oxy can get through 53, that's a pretty big level.
Wow,
so the energy names are looking very, very strong. Google came out, as you just mentioned. Well, you guys might not have heard Sean say it, but I did. Tesla's right at that bottom. Now, line in the chart said like 257, but yesterday's bottom, that 256. Wow. Let's see if it can actually hold this low and do some kind of a reversal here. But I don't want to just sit on the bid. Like, that seems a little bit crazy. I want to see some kind of a bid step in here and do something positive to the name. So oil names up. I'm going to imagine some other energy names. I just saw in the chat there, Jay Alvarez saying uranium flying, so maybe that's a bit of a thing as well. So if you can latch onto those for some strength, that's making some sense. But it's just pure bleed everywhere else. Intel, we kept saying 24. It was holding pre-market lows for a bit, joining the rest of the party. Back under 23.30. For me, the over-under has always been that price. So if it plays back upside into VWAP, I guess I'm going to be shorting Intel. We just broke 20,000 on the NASDAQ, everybody. So it's not looking very, very good here. Let me just go back over to, Rivian's still holding the bottom end of the range after that 11 break. 1075. There's still buyers at 1075. If it doesn't chew through this, Rivian's the kind of name that could squeeze back upside. When you're short 11 and not here, you got to understand, like the biggest, you got half the move and not the full thing. So you don't want to give it all the way back because this could retrace easily to 11, and that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, no, I'm doing the same thing here with Google. Google's trying to make a move back through 166, but I don't know, man. We're long here at 166.17 on Google. We'll see if it wants to hold. We were so happy when it was going up. We're like, man, we're 50 cents in the money. But now we're 50 cents, well, we're not 50 cents out, but it's fallen back into that 50 cent level. The disappointing trade for me, womp, womp, womp. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Again, it looks like we'll have the bottom on Nvidia, which is completely fine. Sometimes we're going to have to make those calls where we're a little uncomfortable with them. And I was not comfortable holding on to that. But what we are comfortable in is taking winners. And there goes Google right now. Nice one. We'll be positive on this name today as it's trying to go. There goes Alibaba, by the way. Alibaba fails on that. That goes straight up to the upside. So we'll be flat on Alibaba after all that. There it goes, man. Try to take out 109. It looks like it does break. Let's go. This market, if this market takes off, we're golden right now. Google trying to go 160, 166.10, trying to get higher and higher and higher. So we'll wait to see 167 coming in now. Nvidia, good call, long 120, but unfortunately it drips too far down. Drips into 119.70. We get stopped out on 85 break. Now it's upside. Let's go Google. This is the one for me right now. If this market does battle back, we've got it. We've got a lot of shares, decent amount of shares anyways. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher. Waiting in the 40s for this one for Google. See if we can get that. Actually, let's just go because we have too many. Let's go to 29. See if we get a little bit of a fill there. I still thinking about short. So hopefully Google will rip up and we'll be wrong about this. But the market right now bleeding today down 1.08%. And there it goes. Let's go, man. Let's hit O Canada for my guy Adam over here, representing, of course, the Commonwealth of England right now.
There it is.
So,
that's very formal.
Yeah, very, very formal. Yes, we have.
Which we're not always around here. But you know what? You got to find relative strength and weakness. And so shout out in the chat to Manuel Palma. This is Palantir, and just like yesterday, for reasons unknown, I mean, Palantir is kind of bucking the trend to the upside. We totally forgot about this because remember, we're waiting for Palantir to break 37.13 yesterday, and it didn't happen until the aftermarket. Well, it's done it now. So it's better if you're going to be late, hopefully well-dressed. 37.5, a big level as well. So I want to look for a dip into VWAP. We'll get rid of that wick at some time in the future, but I'm going to look for this trend to hold on Palantir. The market's bouncing. I want to be long something that is relatively strong if we can find it. So thank you, Manuel. Forgot all about this one. 37.50 is a breakout, but I'd rather be doing a dip buy with the market doing this little bit of a turn. So I'm going to get on the bid here at 30. You can see the trend line I'm working off of. Indo, I'm now trailing. INDO, I'm now trailing underneath 3. If it gets to 340, that's resistance on the daily, $3.40. So I want to be out of that one in front. Let's go back to Adara.
We are going to have happening now really quickly, though, before we get these 10 a.m. numbers, of which there are quite a few. Just a note on a pop in the market. We were hearing some comments here from the Israel military saying that they have not seen any strikes from Iran as of yet. So Iran apparently has not struck Israel as of yet, according to some military spokespeople. Now, of course, we do have a lot of 10 a.m. numbers coming in about 20 seconds. Chief among them, we have the JOLTS job openings here. For August, we have ISM manufacturing PMI for September. We also have construction spending on a month-to-month basis for September. So now just seconds until we get these prints. And what's been a pretty exciting morning so far, some geopolitical tensions pushing the market to the downside to start the day off with some excitement. But now we'll get these JOLTS job openings and other numbers. JOLTS higher than expected here, 8.04 million versus the forecast here of 7.693 million. ISM manufacturing PMI 47.2. Below the forecast here of 47.5, we have ISM manufacturing prices paid 48.3 versus 53.5 expected, so much lower than that estimate. ISM manufacturing employment index also lower than expected, 43.9 versus 47.1 expected. Construction spending month for month lower than estimates as well, negative 0.1% versus positive 0.2 expected. Key numbers here, though, are a higher than expected JOLTS job opening, a slightly lower than expected ISM manufacturing PMI print, and a lower than expected construction spending print. Market continuing to find a bit of a base here, slightly lower high if you look at, or higher low, so if you look at yesterday's low on the SPY as of right now. NEO, actually, in some of these Chinese ADRs, EVs staying strong here. We had pretty high delivery numbers here, increase on a month-over-month basis year-over-year basis for September for NIO and some of these other companies. Tesla here, TSLA, one of the many larger cap names to the downside, getting a maintained sell rating and $120 price target from Wells Fargo added to its tactical ideas list as a short, guys.
Man, I mean, so we were able to do okay, man. We got some good trades there on Google. We got some 40s out on that. It's right there right now. I was just like, oh, man, Nvidia does try to hold, but here comes Nvidia back down. Like, Nvidia just went to 120.75. That was a good long down there at 120, but the problem is it does break, so we're not going to cry over spilled milk, but that was a trade that we could have held on. But again, it always looks good when you get out and then the market continues to go down. We talked about that, and you're like, look how smart I am. The market went down and I got out, but then when it blasts back up, you're like, oh, damn you, risk management. And it's like, you know, you can't have it both ways. You're either going to have to sit there and take your medicine when it breaks or not. Like, we're not down that much on it. It's not the end of the world. It's just, that was a trade that I liked and that we probably could have stayed in it, and we didn't. So, yeah, that was my bad on that one. We should have done a little bit better on that. But right now, we'll just wait out for Google. Tesla, I mean, that's still dropping and not really stopping. Like 255 right now. I have no idea what's wrong with Tesla. I mean, I wish we did so I could tell you, but it is breaking a lot lower. They were added to WFC's tactical list. Well, I don't know what kind of tactics they're doing, but they should be coming in and buying this name if they like it. Down here into the 200 period moving average. Not great for Tesla, 255.
Tactical miss list.
Yeah, tactical, like we have no idea what kind of tactics we're about to use. But down to 254. Robo-taxi, a couple days away. Tesla right now. Pick it up if you like it. It's down to 255. That's pretty low, guys.
So a couple of things, and this is going to be double barrel trend action. So Palantir on the number. Come to the chart. There's your trend line. Bought the dip into the trend. It went right to resistance at 37.5, and there is your left-hand turn, or I guess right-hand turn if you're looking in this direction. If we lose VWAP, I want to be out of this. It was because it was relatively strong, but if the market's going to continue to head down, it might not hold on forever there on Palantir. I did just trail out of Indo on for a similar reason. Oh, here. Rather than redraw the trend line, see that out? That's this trend on INDO. We just got out of it there. Our best fills at the 310 level, but it's actually holding on to VWAP. So I threw the trend line up to get my out. If the market was going to bounce, I was thinking some of the energy names might actually give back some, but this is going to hold on to VWAP. I'll look for a re-entry here. Just want things to calm down. It's 10 o'clock. That's the time that you want to usually reassess. Okay, what's still holding up? Any levels that you like before, you still like? Any trends that you want to join or get away from if they're going in the other direction? But I think Indo was trying to maintain that trend to the upside, but it briefly broke the trend line after that dip into VWAP the first time. Palantir's holding for now. You already mentioned Tesla. It's weird to me that Tesla bleeds, and we just had what looks to me like a reversal candle here on Rivian, like monster volume right at the low, and now challenging VWAP. So that's usually meaning I'm going to get out at this bottom. That's a pretty big volume candle. And if the market's doing this and Tesla's doing that, like why is Rivian somehow relatively strong compared to Tesla? I'm not going to answer that question. I think that's philosophical. And I'm probably just going to get out of Rivian if it's not making fresh low. So that short's already worked out for us. Just going to be patient. We just only have Palantir long, but I like that one for strength.
All right, let's go, man. We bought some more Googles at We bought some more Google at 166, right down there. So we're long at 166.01. It's 30 cents in the money right now. Like I said, if this market wants to bounce, man, then this is going to be a good trade for us. Oops, we're still on Tesla. Sorry. There's Google. So we just bought some more 166s. Oh, man. We like this level from yesterday, right? It was yesterday's close. So if it breaks, then yeah, we'll have to sort of wave that white flag. But right now, Google, nicely traded today, so we'll just have to call it like it is. Let's now wait to see if it wants to go back. So we're in the money on Google. I'm offering some 30s. I might just get something out again here at 25. Key level again, option eligible, right? 166.25s. We'll take another piece out there. I think we just got some 23s.
Oh, wait.
So now we'll wait to see if we can fly just a little bit higher. We're waiting in the 30s and then a lot higher than that, back up to 167. I mean, we're underneath now. All I'm doing, like, I feel like we're fish swimming upstream right now. Like, the market is short. I don't know why I'm looking long. The long is not right. I have to find
just very quickly here
shorts, maybe Apple.
So Mullins halted to the upside. Nicola's breaking the tops right now. So I have no idea what's going on with these things, but there's Nicola breaking the top, and then Mullen is just reopened, halted up. Yeah, it feels like this is a good place to, look, I'm going to get out of Rivian. The Rivian that breakdown at 11, obviously it worked, but if all of these rando EV names are starting to go to the upside, then I'm just going to get the heck out of Dodge. That was what that spike was on Rivian. The big volume spike was when Mullen and Nicola and probably a few other things started to go out of nowhere. So I'm just going to get out of Rivian. Feel like that's going to be a good decision. Palantir, you could make an argument that, hey, Palantir is a defense-adjacent name, so these headlines are good for them. I just like the fact that it's trending up. So we're going to respect the trend line for now and try to buy dips into it. It's back at the 37.5. Yesterday's high now sort of lines up. As it glides higher, I mean, the dip buys are probably going to end up moving up with Palantir. You got resistance on the daily, but that's not till $38. You're trying to clear out this 37.50 and then head on higher. But if 20,000, if we don't hold 20,000 on the NASDAQ, it might not matter for Palantir, as good as it's been to the long so far. Let me just double check in on Intel. I thought we'd be getting, never mind. That's not even trying to bounce off the lows. So some stocks are bouncing to give you entries. I feel like it's like Intel's not, Apple is not.
Nope.
Yeah, you just, the bounces that are happening are the ones that I kind of favor the long side, which is usually how it goes. So just Palantir for the long side for me. But the reason for getting out of Rivian is because I have no idea what's going on in those other EV names. Don't want to get caught in some kind of a weird squeeze that makes no sense.
I guess we could cancel our Apple shorts up there at 230. That's not going to be coming through anytime. For some pullbacks in some of these weak names to grab shorts. So I don't really see too much right now. I mean, if anything, maybe Nvidia, but Nvidia's kind of holding this 120 area. I don't want to go short there and then eventually be wrong. Maybe there's a bounce at 20. NASDAQ down at 20K. Was that a call for Adara? If so, let's go.
We have more updates coming out here with regards to the situation with Israel and Iran. We have Barak Ravid. This is the same Axios reported that initially said there were There was talk from U.S. officials about a potential strike. Now, apparently, hearing from Israeli officials saying that there is an expected Iranian attack, apparently estimated that it'll be carried out within the next few hours. So again, the same Axios reporter saying that now hearing that Iran is expected to attack Israel within, quote, the next few hours. We'll keep you guys updated as the situation continues to unfold.
Just say we got to flip short and I go long on the futures. Like, honestly, we're going to have to just get refocused here. I'm going to try, if the stream is lagging, just refresh it right now. Here we go. Okay, so there goes the market. Straight to the downside. We just broke through 20,000 clean right there. We were trying it. That was not a big hit there. We just tried to defend 20,000. I just thought the futures came in. Maybe that's a bounce level, but it looks lower. I mean, that report of imminent strikes, I mean, that's not something that we want to hear and try to fight that play. So right now, there goes the market to the downside. Maybe it's just a short from here. This market could flip up a lot here. I don't know, like the last time, and again, like I'm not, defense minister or anything like that, but the last time that they tried to strike Israel, all those things got blasted in the sky. I mean, they didn't even, I don't think they landed at all. But that doesn't matter. It's just the idea of this happening is not great for the stock market.
No, not even a little bit.
We're going to try to flip over a little short here, and then I don't want to get too carried away, man. I mean, I remember my worst day of September was the first day, and I don't want to have a rinse and repeat right now of that action. So let's
sip champagne.
Yeah, let's just sip champagne when we Thursday. Right there. Okay, so we have gone short now on the futures. So look what happens. We go short on the futures, and instantly it's a cashable trade. But anyways, let's wait to see. We'll bid some more down here near 69. Take out a little bit of profit here if it does dip down. But I'm going to try to go short. Let's play underneath this 20,000. If it rips back up, we can always get out of this one. It is the TQs. I give this to like 69.70 or so, somewhere around there for that 20,000 mark. So you're now down 50 handles. There it is. Yes, sir. Wow. Let's see if we can have diamond hands. We finally flip it up, man. We finally get the balls to go short. I mean, we needed that to happen. There it goes. Yes, sir. Let's go, man. There's the switch up. I mean, we had to do that. Nice move to the downside right there. So now we're short the TQs. We just shorted in and around 20,000. It's about 50 handles. Let's get to the downside. It's only 40 cents on the TQQ, but still, we'll take that trade to the bank right now. Nice flip up on the short.
Yeah, that's what you got to do sometimes. I'll tell you right now, I got bamboozled on Rivian because right after those EV names all spiked to the upside, I got out of Rivian and just made a fresh low. But when those headlines came through, it's like, well, if that's happening, and look, you don't want there to be any strikes. Let's be real for a second. You don't want there to be anything bad. We hope it doesn't, but energy names go higher. Indo bounced off of VWAP. Pretty clean there. I trailed out of it. We got back in off of VWAP. Now it's about to take out 350. So energy higher. This is up now 44%. We said 340 was resistance. There's a couple of wicks up here to 365. So if it gets all the way to 365, that would be the target. Obviously, it's more of a squeeze name than anything else, but there's a real move happening in the energy names as we speak. So trying to rejoin some of the trend here means upside on energy names and downside on pretty much everything else. I really don't know what else is going to be strong this moment, but like there's Rivian. Like we had the 11 short. That was when all that nonsense was going on with Mullen and all that those other bad EV stocks. I almost said something else, but now we just want to short the next available pop. We're going to stay looking trend long on Indo as long as it wants to hold, but that 360 is going to be the target. So looking for another 10% move on INDO.
All right, here goes the flush, man. Now 40 cents in the money on the TQs, if not a little bit more. Let's see if we can get it going. Look, we were so impressed with Adam today. Unfortunately, we got rid of Sharif. So if you go over to Sharif, there he is right there. What's up, Adam? So you can go on the double shot there. So there it is. What's going on there? Your new midday hosts right there. Shout out to Joe and to Adam, the most handsome midday hosts of all time. Besides, I just saying that for when Sharif comes back in. I have to deal with that guy now. All right, no, just kidding aside there. Adam, will be. I don't know. Are you going to make some appearances? Maybe we'll see. There, he's looking at some charts and getting ready to go. So Joe on the midday today, I guess. Is that what's happening? More option talk or more a bit about everything? Everything. Yeah, we talking it all, baby. That's what we do here at Trader TV Live. So we want to thank Joe for joining us again. Okay, so here we go. So nice little move back, right? We got out of 60% of those futures contracts. Now we'll try to average back into it. There we go. We take a fill right now. You know, it's tough to play news, but I think we want to stay short. So I was just looking at this. We talked about a level of 69.75. I feel pretty comfortable if we get back into there. That would be an area where we'd look to get out. So we'll reload right now on this contract, and we'll get it going. So we just took a 25 short there. We're short at 69.25s. Let's bid some more down near 05s or something like that. Again, you know, we're up on the TQs, but might be temporary. You don't want to always go short at the bottom. But let's just wait to see what happens there. We are averaging back into it. We're bidding 05s. Give me a little bit more down here. Make sure you can like and subscribe. We just reshorted this in the quarters. We're bidding now 69-ish. Let's see if we get it, and then go over to the desk, I believe, with more from Adara. Not right now.
That's
okay.
all right.
It was like and subscribe. That's what it was. Thank you for that, Fabian. So hit the like and the subscribe. Here we go. Get it to us. Get it to us. Give us those 05s. And that's what we're doing right there. Nice little reload on the futures. We get those 05s. As there goes the futures. Nice little downside play. We'll bid some more down here at 69. Then if we crack, we'll get some more out in the 80s, and then we'll deal with it after that, because there it goes. Let's see if we get a downside move now in the S&P 500 and in the NASDAQ. Let's go. Man, that was a good reload. It's a chicken dinner winner, but we need to get out more. So let's go downside, downside, downside. Let's see if that pressure continues here for the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 as global unrest hits the markets today. And your boy just cashes again. Like, we just reloaded that, guys, right here, 1975. We just put 50 more handles in our pocket as we say, oh, Canada to that one. Nice little move to the downside right there on the NASDAQ. So, yeah, all right, back over to Mr. Roberts.
Yeah, you're going to see I got out again. We got another 10% move on Indo, and I love this from Mo in the chat. Thesis, Chinese ADRs stronger because there isn't a perceived Middle East risk on them. Look, at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily matter. But if you observe something in the market that fits a thesis or that fits the price action, then just kind of roll with it. So energy up, tech down, and if the retail type names are going to be weak today, I think that's going to make a little bit of sense. But I want to try to go at station to station. So the first move we took was just a VWAP bounce on INDO. It trailed out because of the trend breaking. This time it goes right into resistance at $3.60. So remember, it was the break of the 50 period 3. You've now made the move from there to there. It needs to take out this next top 370 if you're going to get any real continuation, obviously on that daily. It's a pretty nasty and red board, obviously, as you speak. So you look at like what is up, Oxy, BABA, XOM, right? So obviously UVXY is going to be negatively correlated, but it's energy names up. That's why we went over the long in INDO. It's the same thing as being short. I did just try to grab Intel for a short, though, because if this is one that we're going to have breaking that 23, it's now consolidating under the 23 level. So really the only negative one for me is actually Google. Everything else has been positive. But I did get out of that Rivian short. We're looking to add Intel a lot lower than what we suspected. We thought we'd be shorting 24. Now we're trying to short the 23. But it's been a good morning, everybody. Can't complain whatsoever. You just got to be willing to join the trends where they are.
Yeah, good morning. Obviously not great, but there it is, man. There's the TQQ. I mean, we'll just put in our pocket, honestly. If you're trading with me, that's 50 handles. We just took a 77 fill there on the TQQs after just reloading it at 21s. So it's a nice little 50 cents on this, roughly 50 handles there if you're looking at the NASDAQ. As it continues to bleed, man, we think we can go lower than this. You're down 1.7%. I'm glad that we flipped it up. Have the gumption, have the feeling in that pit of your stomach that something is wrong and just go short. We'll get hit early, man. It's too bad about Alibaba because we had that short, but I don't, you know, we'll pick on these NASDAQ names. Look at the Google now. Got out of it, right? Nice move down into 165 right now. Starting to go lower. Look at Nvidia. Oh boy, did we have a good one there. We'll flush it down the toilet, but what an out on Nvidia 120. Like, I've lost more money than people make in a month just on one trade by holding on to stuff. You do not want to do that when you're trading bigger shares. That is for damn sure. So we'll learn our lesson there with Nvidia over the last little while as that continues to cascade lower and lower. And it's all about the flip up, man. We flipped up into the short And then that's been a mood changer, that's for sure, as this name continues to make moves down. It is the NASDAQ. We only have about 25% left, though, out of all of this. So we're getting out on this move down in for the NASDAQ. Who knows how low we can go, but we do now have Adara at the desk.
This part of the show is brought to you by Trade the Pool. Great update from Trade the Pool. Now it's even easier to get funded. As you know, Trade the Pool built a unique program to evaluate stock traders like yourself and provide you with the company's funds to trade with. It's real shares, and you no longer need to worry about the PDT rule, but that's not all. I have some exciting news for you today. Trade the Pool has introduced a new tier with $20,000 in buying power, making it easier to pass the evaluation and speeding up the process of getting funded much faster. That's right, it is that simple, and it works. You don't want to miss this opportunity. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description for more information.
Thank you very much there, Dara. And rightfully pointed out, right? Like you saw the energy names all going to the upside. LMT, obviously, Lockheed Martin, I'm sure Northrop's probably having a pretty solid day as well. But this is up a couple of points. The one that's standing out, those make obvious sense. No argument there. Energy, defense, you should be relatively strong. SMCI, why this should be relatively strong, I have no answer for that, but the price action is what it is. We're short that one. We elected not to reload because when the market was making lows, it was making higher lows. So SMCI looks like it wants to try to squeeze out a little bit here. I'm going to stay away from the short on SMCI. We like that 42.5, but it's oddly strong as far as I'm concerned. Indo is still making moves into the upside. Doesn't seem to want to give another VWAP retracement. You're still trending up. This is more of a squeeze type name on the energy space. I usually, the last couple of times we got it was both off of VWAP here, so I want to give it a chance to dip down into the 330 and then maintain that trend. So we can be patient with it. It's 1020. I don't want to buy tops. I'd rather wait for the 325. Andrew, SMCI is shortable for us. So I can only tell you that we can short SMCI. Yeah. I don't know if there's an issue with other brokers. It's very much, yeah, it's like easy locates for us, and it always has been. There's never been an issue to short that stock. But yeah, that wouldn't be the reason why it's holding to the upside. Your guesses would be as good as mine, to be honest with you.
I'm going to try to buy a little bit more of a bottom here on the TQs. So I don't, we might be battling back right now. So I'm going to get out if we take out this high right here, 69.35. I'm not going to hold this all the way back. I actually have another play that I like. I actually like this Google break long now. We're down here at 165. I thought this would be a good level to start buying. So we're going to take a break if it breaks this level. I just got to make sure my order's in there, breaking through 20. It's going to happen right now. Now I feel dumb because we just looked at this down here at 80s and we did not take it. I just said to myself, let's play some, okay, there it is. Now are we in this name? Okay. Let's take this name on the break higher. So now we're into Google. Let's just see if it goes. I want to give it to the bottom. We'll average in a little bit. I don't expect this to go immediately on a break, which obviously it's not doing. So we're going to have to wait now for Google. Tesla's all the way down, by the way. Tesla is right now down to 252 flat. Okay, here we go. So Google. So again, we take a little bit of a break on that one. We're not trying to go, set the world on fire here with this trade. Let's just see if there is some love back up. We just missed a 97 there, so let's buy a little bit there at O's. All right, so here it comes. 165. We're long right now, 165.15. Let's see if that can work out for us. I'm going to take another bid out right now on the TQs in case we're right about Google. So here it goes. Nice move up for the TQs. We'll bid some more at 69. We're into the long on Google against the bottom of the day. You want to break, man. 164.75. We're here to dance. So let's see what Google has to offer us. We're long right now at 15s.
Yeah, the market's catching a little bit of a bid here. I would suspect when the market's gone up, the energy names have come back down. So that Indo into VWAP is probably likely to happen here. There's a few names that I was liking. If I liked it short before all of this, I'm going to like it short on the pops. So I'm waiting here for Rivian to get into VWAP. If it never gets back to VWAP, then 1080 would be the level that we can look to start something. So with the market pulling back in here, here comes INDO. So sitting VWAP, looking to short the pop on Rivian. INDO starting to pull back in. If it can do what it did before, level off, bounce off of VWAP, we'll look to re-enter the trend back in. That's one we're definitely going to like. I want to get back over to Palantir as well. Again, don't want to rush into anything. This is trying to get back above 37. It lost trend in a big way. made a new bottom, not quite 36.5. That's the level that we love, but it still held the higher low from yesterday. So I still like this one for a little bit of strength. 36.50 is the ultimate, but if this can get back in and maybe retest some kind of a higher low adjacent to 36.50, then we like that one, the upside. Again, not rushing into anything here. Intel, I'm not sure I want to short that 23 as much as I liked before, but it's starting to get there as well. So I'm looking for a couple of places to short the pops. Again, that's what we're doing early, but we're going to be patient with it. I don't see any need to rush into them. It's Indo that I think is going to come first. So as that starts to pull back in, we'll look to, never mind, it can't even get to VWAP. This is already back up toward the highs. You got to be kidding me. Indo running, looked like it was about to dip into VWAP, and it's right back up here at the top. So Indo still running higher as we go to Adair for the small cap recap.
Nice bounce here on the IWM on that 15-minute chart. A bit of a bottoming tail candle. Now this bullish candle here trying to take out that entire move down that we got from 10 to 10.15. Let's see if the Russell 2000 can reverse from this key pivotal area. We also, in terms of small cap runners here, MULN on watch. Nice little bull flag for Mullen, holding up pretty well here, up about 15%. No news on this one, but it has run before, as have all of the names on this list, actually. MULN has run before. We have a short float of about 10%. On a 1.5 million share float, market cap of under $5 million. Next up here, TIGR. This one's up here about 12%. This is up fintech. This is a Chinese ADR. So one of those, continued strength Chinese ADRs, and watch here, TIGR, no specific catalyst. Last but not least, INDO, of course, on this list, up about 50%. No news, but definitely reacting as an energy name. The company is called Indonesian Energy. This one has run before, reacting to the ongoing geopolitical situation we have right now in the Middle East. So INDO with a 5% short float, really strong on the day, guys.
All right, let's be perfectly honest here. We're actually close to being up on Google. We were able to buy that dip twice. We looked at it. We like those levels. We are getting out. We have a bunch of outs here, man. We're planting these red roses right now because it does not want to break this 40 level. So we're just getting out. We're long at 165.10. We do not need this market to turn around on us. And most likely, we don't like holding longs when this looks like this. The futures are down. Very, very risky holding said long. So with that being said, we did exit out. We exit out of half of what we had left on the TQs up here for flat, as you guys can see. So now you're dropping back in. Now it's a 30-cent winner as this name continues to drop lower. So the futures paying us out really well right now. Maybe if we get another move back into the 70s, we can cash out of this futures play. The reason why we got some out on the top side was because of Google. We were already getting some out there. I really wanted the market to rip. We have X amount of shares more in Google than we do in these futures play left on board right now. So here comes Google, right back to where we're long at 165 change. I do want to still buy some of this dip, but we're getting out. The order's already in. If we break back down below here, so that level is 75s or so. 82s is the low here for Google. It looks like the market wants to go lower. We're good because we're short on the Qs, but we're not good on the long here with Google. So yeah, back in on this name. Let's see if we can buy some kind of dip on this. But our risk is very, very tight, man. 165 break. We have that the bottom of the day here as given on Google is 164.80. So a snap down below that and we can grab out. But I think it's a little worth it. We just had a retracement back up on Google. Let's see if it could happen again. I like the strength in the name today, but the market is bleeding and markets will take stock down with them, and that's what they're doing with Google. Great show. Wow. The market is continuously going, man. We're still another 50 handles in on this, so it's a good trade short the market.
Yeah, so we're at 10:30, we're going to have like services revenue, small number, but on a 15-minute, we're yet to have a green candle on the NASDAQ here, breaking through all support, breaking through 20,000. Does look like we're still on the trend to the downside.
Yeah.
In trying to get back into this INDO, wow. Okay, it's trying to sell off now. I'm still looking for the dip into 330. If we don't get this, it might just consolidate a little bit higher, holding on to the 341 level. The reason I'm not compromising on price and wanting any kind of a break or too tight is you're at resistance on it. So it either dips exactly where you want it or it takes out that top and can clear out the next zone into the upside. It's a pure squeeze type name. So it's going to move. It's going to usually out extend any move that you're getting in the other energy names that are more legitimate. Intel, That's what just happened at 23. So you can try to get short, but sometimes you just got to hit the old bid. We're not in Rivian anymore. We're not in Intel, but I do not want to be fighting anything to the long side at this particular point. So we're not going to try to rush into anything. Almog, I know there was, you just mentioned NEO for a retest. There was some idea that you could be relatively strong in China, but the price action has to bear it out. NEO, that's $7. It still can't break through the brick wall of 7. It's got itself a double bottom, but until it makes higher lows off of that, it's like a short at $7. And Sean's already gone over Alibaba, and that's not looking very good as well. Tesla is at 250. Tesla is at 250 right now. And the last time it was here, if you were here the last time, then you kind of know it did like a false break, held 249.5, and then started going. That's a very specific setup. Like the only way that I'm going to get this is if it breaks the low, does not break that $0.50, and then snaps back up through 250. Like I'd rather have it where it runs stops, gets people out, and then I try to go long with a 50 to 60 cent stop on the way back up through than anything else. So Tesla's here down 4%, but that 250, it did this move like a week ago or so, something along those lines. So we're waiting on Indo to join back in the trend, but Tesla, I'm only looking for a false breakdown. If it just breaks and then carry through 249, I don't want any part of it. So there's the break of 250. Looks like it held that 50 level pretty decently. Came right back above, and I did not get filled on the way back through. Okay, so I did not get filled on the way back through. I guess we did miss the bid. I'm just going to leave it and see if we get picked up on it. The stop is already in underneath the $0.50. Maybe I'll move it to 10s or something like that, but we didn't get filled on the way back in. I believe I just heard we're supposed to go to the crypto segment, but you heard the plan. Was trying to get it back through on the 250. So false break for now on Tesla as we go to Adara for crypto.
Bitcoin here actually having a pretty decent start to the day. We were at our highest level here around like 64,000. Now we are below 63, heading into the 62,500 level here in BTC. Now poised for its third straight day to the downside, finding some clear resistance at the 62,000 level on the daily chart. And that comes in spite of actually a good performance for the month of September. Apparently, from what I was reading, this was Bitcoin's best September since its entire inception. The second best was actually its first year there in September 2009. So good look here for BTC on coming off September. October, though, not starting off too great as we move down with the rest of the market in terms of the geopolitical updates. BTC down about 2%. We have Ethereum faring slightly better, down about 1.65%, 1.5%. Trying to hold on to that 2570 level here for ETH. Lots of weakness here in the rest of these names as well. We have Tron flat, slightly positive. This DAI actually positive here in the day, but everything else pretty red to start. Which looks like it's going to be a red start to the month for this entire market and the crypto space, guys.
And the entire market continues to the downside. So pretty much we got in there just in front of 250, stop underneath that 249.50, no reload, no averaging, nothing. We got inside. Now, if I get it on the way up, maybe we could have scalped some out. You don't really know unless you get the fill on the way back up, but I caught it on the way back down. Tesla's still bleeding into the downside. There's nothing that's changing it. Indo's not doing much. Like this, I felt like I felt like we'd be getting a VWAP retracement here. The longer it holds on to 340, the more this just becomes a trade off of 340. I was expecting that we'd get a little bit more action on INDO. When the market bounced, I was expecting dip, but you're still relatively strong there. And Intel is it's bad. I don't know. I don't have any other way to put this. But it's now, like you can pretty much forget about that 23 even. Got to look for some lower levels to try to play into the trend when joining it. Don't even have anything right now except for the evens. I feel like Rivian's going to give us some room to get to the downside. $10.50, $10 both going to be in play. So the second it makes some kind of a pop or a consolidation, I'm just looking for the next available short. So it looks nasty here. I see in the chat there the Piper Meta, are you going to bounce? I mean, if you can tell me what's relatively strong right now that you like the longs in, I mean, I haven't seen much of anything that I like. Meta, okay, it's not terrible. Meta has held on to yesterday's high and is still green. So I suppose there's some relative strength in Meta. but I'd like to see it reverse this. Like it's all red candles since a breakout at the open or a false breakout at the open. Let's see a bit of a reversion instead of just trying to sit on the bid. So still hunt for some Indo. You know, that's been a couple of times to the long side that's worked. All right, now it's trying to make a bit of a run here. It just ran the high of the day and pulling back. So a bit of a false breakout. This could be the VWAP test we've been looking for. Just probably needed to trap some people up at that high.
Yeah, well, we're just looking at the TQs. It's over 100 handles now in the money. So we're, and I was just actually zooming this thing out. And honestly, like, I think that there could be a little bit of pressure here at 68. So I'm trying to get out right now a little bit lower. We did rebuy. I'm still fighting Google, like, and I went back into the long there. It's 15 cents in the money, but this is a good look here for the TQ. So if we're able to get that, then let's just get out of this trade. So we'll wait to see. It is dripping down in a little bit, but we are back into the Google long. So let's see if that one wants to work. All right, you know what? 68.50. Let's see if we can just get that fill now. We were waiting for 68 quarters on the TQs. Looks like we might have missed that. And that was that bottom, right? 68.40. So we were waiting for it. Hopefully it comes in and gives it to us. Let's get out of a little bit more here. We don't want to just sit here in these longs when we know there hasn't been right. Let's take advantage of another little bit of an up move here. There we go. We do actually wind up getting that futures trade. So that's 100 handles right there. That's a chicken dinner winner. So good trading there on the futures here today. It'll be like the saving grace, or else it would have been a lot worse. Like if we went short there and the market would have ripped up, that would have been bad. But we'll try to make a little bit back here on Google, which we are. We're trying to get out some now in the teens. Hopefully we can get that as we rip through this level, or we do not. But that was a good trade right there. We got 17s or 16s out on a 95 long. So the market just continues to bleed. I'm trying to hope for a retracement back up. I mean, and then the strong names, not in. I was going over to Nvidia because we had lost this one at 120, and I'm just like, why did we not go short? Down to 117 and change. And then SMCI post split today. Our charts will not show it, but down. This one's getting hit as well, down 3+%. The charts on the daily is going to look ridiculous as it is over here. But right now today, pretty choppy for SMCI. Good little hit there if it goes back up through 43, but that may not be happening anytime soon. So yeah, man, the market is what it is. We clear out of our futures trade. That was a nice move down to the bottom again. So we'll take some money there. And now we'll wait to see what happens. Nvidia and Tesla both getting hit today, man. Tesla's down to 249.
Yeah,
249.
Like, you know, you kind of thought it would hold some strength in the robo-taxi, but that just hasn't happened. So, well, I guess Palantir did get to 36.5 after all. So that's what a down market does for you. Like, you're going to get to some pretty big levels in here. Oh, there goes Indo. Indo just broke the high, so hang on a second. You don't want to dip by it. If it fails the break of the high of the day, I'm not just going to sit on the bid because that could easily halt down. So there goes Palantir. It just did the over-under. So it broke 36.50 to the downside. Kind of a similar maneuver to Tesla. Like, I don't want to be sitting on it. I wanted to try the test. If it breaks underneath, get it on the other side, give to low of day. So pretty much the exact same thing. If it does not hold this low, then we just get out. Got my stop in. As far as Indo goes, all right, was trying to get that last dip, and of course that's a moment that it just ran the high of the day. So this one continues to go up. Remember, INDO is it's just like a squeeze proxy for energy type name, but it's continuing the trend higher. Never got to VWAP in there, but that 350 holding out nicely. If it doesn't give a re-entry there, a reminder that the daily chart, this is resistance right at 370. So I don't want to buy this high. It needs to clear out these tops, maybe get through the $4 or get over to that $4 level. So Palantir is a new one. INDO is just continuing to run higher along with a lot of its cohorts for sure. Let's see what happens. The market's trying to hold on to 19.9 here, but I didn't see much that I liked in terms of strength and levels. Palantir 36.5 is one we liked for a couple of days. And then Meta is the other one that's holding on to some strength. Hasn't really reversed the trend, but this one looks pretty strong. If this can get back up through VWAP, I think it has a decent chance to go. But the one I took long is Palantir.
All right, guys, we're 50 cents back in the money now on Google, so that's finally started to go. I mean, we said we would try to buy some of these dips. We did that, and we did it pretty good on Google. So let's wait to see now. Here we go, man. We're now 60 cents in the money on this Google trade. good out for us on the TQs, right? I mean, we did sort of nail that bottom there for the futures as well. Come on, Google. Here we go, man. We are doing pretty good now as we get it right back up to the 50-period moving average. It's Google. It's 70 cents now in the money off that bottom. We had to wait for it, man, and I don't like always getting back and forth with it, but we were pretty patient. We picked our poison. We got back into Google. It's a runner right now, back there up to the upside. And we'll try to find some more names for you. Of course, Nike reporting tonight. So if you're going to do it, just do it with Nike. $89 was a level that we were looking at before. It's actually holding out positively right now today in what's been a pretty bloodbathy kind of day for any of the longs, no matter what. But now Tesla, good bottom pick there on Tesla. Anybody that has that one, I came back when it was like 249. Nice move there for Google, back up, or for Tesla, sorry, back up to the upside off of that level. But you know what everyone's here for? I know Adam's here for this. It's what's for lunch. So let's go over our most famous segments. All right, what's on the menu today if everyone's hungry today? This is something that, you know, you could barbecue up, so we'll go a little bit like this. I'm not sure the style this is going to be, but today it's sweet and sour honey hoisin glazed chicken. So that's been good before with Japanese style rice pilaf. Japanese style, okay. With some steamed broccoli, okay, I'm down with that. And then we get the salad with cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, sweet peppers, and julienne carrots. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what's for lunch. It's another chicken on the menu. But we are not chicken to trade today, as Google right there, now 70 cents, right back up to the 50-period moving average. Let's go, Google. Maybe you are the one that carries us to the promised land. Google only down 0.14, NASDAQ down 1.64. I like the stock. I like Google. Google's going higher and higher into the 70s. That's a face slapper right there for us. It is now 80 cents back in the money. Hoisin sauce right there, Mr. Love Shack. There it goes. I thought it was hoisin, but he says hoisin there in the chat. It's all good. It's all good, man. We make, it tastes good. It'll be good right there. It's Google. We just got some out at 70. It's a day saver right there. All right, over to Adara, then we'll come back.
This board getting a little more green here as we see a bit of a recovery, an attempt to make a bottom here in this market. Let's talk about the sectors that are notably strong right now. We have energy minerals, of course, these oil names benefiting from the right now pretty perilous situation we have going on with regards to tensions in the Middle East. Last I heard, apparently Israel saying they've seen these missiles or potential weapons here entering from Lebanon. So that's certainly something to note there. Energy very strong. We have some strength here in utilities, of course, in regards to energy. Health services having some strength here as well. And consumer non-durables, PEP here. Pepsi at more than 1%, acquiring Siete Foods for about $1.2 billion. So catalyst-driven moves sending Pepsi higher. In terms of weakness, pretty much across the board, one of the biggest things to note here, other than the tensions in the Middle East, is the port strike, which began today as of 12 a.m. So these strikes starting at midnight. Retail trade, of course, being impacted by some of these port closures in the East Coast. AMZN, COST, all here to the downside. Finance right across the board. Electronic technology, notably red. But I do want to talk here about technology services because we have two names a little bit stronger here, Meta and Google, both getting positive analyst notes here from Pivotal Research Group, keeping them a little bit away from the bloodbath that is the rest of this sector and a lot of this market still, guys.
It's worth noting on that board, you see Coke and you see Pepsi actually holding pretty deep, like up 1% each there. So it's not just, we were mentioning oil and defensive names for obvious reasons going to the upside. But yeah, good to see Procter and Coke and those types of things hold up if you got them in your old portfolio. So Palantir did get to 36.5. It did the over-under move. The one that didn't work on Tesla, although it did, I guess, if you hold it past the low of the day. But now trying to get back to, so there's the lower high at 36.65. It just got a bit of a fail there. If it's going to stair step back up to VWAP, I want it to hold a higher low right at the 36.5 level. Okay, Indo starting to pull back a little bit. I don't know, this might be overextended. I feel like this is the spot. If we cannot hold on above 370 on the daily, you could start going in the other direction. But it's held VWAP for now. But this is the big level on the daily, and that's where it's choking up a little bit here on INDO. So I've been pretty cautious in terms of getting back into it because I think you're in a bit of a downswing on that exuberant oil move, I suppose is what we're calling it. So Palantir, we're in it, but INDO, it might not be a trade anymore if it loses this same level. Almog in the chat. So Duo, that's the small capper that we were talking about this morning, Fang D or whatever it's called, halted to the upside here with a 310 tap. So the indicated open price is 310. This is right where it halted down at the morning, right at $3. So recovery past this would be a nice reversal for this for Duo. It's just one of those Chinese lower float names that has a chance to get back into the upside. But Palantir is the one I'm looking at, obviously because we're in it. And Indo, I'm not as sold on this dip buy. But it's still holding VWAP for now. But watch out for that Duo. Above $3 looks pretty solid because the whole price this morning was the $2.99 level. So here comes Indo, and it's coming in very, very rapidly into VWAP. That's not what you want to see. You want to see it bounce and level off here again before jumping in. And the retest of Palantir at 36.50 would be a real low spot for me.
So we made a small, very, very small keystroke error, but it did change our price. We're almost 80 cents now in the money on Google, but I hit a buy there instead of a sell, so we immediately bought and sold at the same time here once we made that error. So that's fine, in and out there, but I'm not adding to the position up here. Our long really is down here, 164.90s, 164.80s. So let's see if we can get a little bit more of a bump up. We did real good getting out of that TQs, man. I mean, that was a good out there, 68.50, saved us from this move all the way up. So far, so good on that one. I'm only into Google right now, letting this one sort of settle down. But I am noticing what just happened. We did get a bounce right back to the 50-period moving average. That's a short. So we probably should have shorted the futures one more time. And it looks like that would have been working out completely fine because look at the TQQs. There's the short off of here, 18s, 19s. Would have given you a little bit of love there, but not much on that level. So we'll wait to see there. Oh, man, now it's good. There's the short off the 50-period moving average. Oopsies. What happened there? Off the 50-period moving average. I want to zoom in a little bit. So, yeah, good retracement right there. Should have had that, but that's okay. Google still holding out okay. Alibaba, again, wow, check out the account after this one. Alibaba right now, 109 and holding out. Good level. I don't want to go short this name, but if you're looking at it, we've already been up here. We were at 109.25 before and dropped down $2 from this exact level. So watch out now for potential move higher in Alibaba because you bounce off the 200, you take VWAP as if it doesn't exist. I'm not looking for a higher now, looking for a higher break of 190, 102, Sean, 109.25. I keep looking at this Google. 102.95 is the level for Alibaba. So if we take out that high of the day, I think that's good. We've already supported it. Let's see if it goes higher. I just don't know if the market's going any higher right now. We've already sort of made our bed with Google, and it's having a hard time down here, going. So we'll wait, we'll relax, we'll just sit back, see if it can work. I like that Alibaba break, 109.25, a little bit higher. Indo, you're already in Indo.
Well, I've been in it a couple of times, but that last little test of the high, this is the oil futures contract, which I haven't shown today, probably should. The last little test of the high, which was a false break of the high, did not really pull all that far back. So it looked like we were about to trend back down into maybe like 69.8 or VWAP, which seems like so far away. So Indo's over here, looking for the bounce off VWAP there, but I have my eyes on oil futures, so I'm going to get up and make sure I have another chart. So as long as we're kind of pulling back, I don't want to buy Indo when this is giving it up into prior support. If it holds on to prior support and we're still above 340, then I like it. Just wanted to walk through. I am keeping an eye on energy prices. Indo's like a proxy trade because like oil's not going to move 10%, but obviously INDO is going to because it's just that low float type runner. I did want to get back over to Intel because if the market rolls over again, there's a bit of an if. This is attempting to break the trend from earlier. So the trend on the early move to the downside, you're now kind of closing multiple candles above the trend line. So if it retakes the trend to the downside, I think it's a short. Otherwise, I think this could be headed into VWAP. Feel very similarly about Rivian, although the difference with Rivian, this looks pretty clean to just short VWAP, or maybe even underneath that 1075, 1080 area. So Palantir is a few pennies away from a reload off of 36.5. Rivian, which we thought was a short to begin with, can't get to VWAP, so we're just going to play the lower highs as it continues to put them in. Duo being bipolar, yeah, probably, and Tesla taking off. Always have to keep an eye on Tesla. Look at that. Like it didn't give the move right at 250. It gave the move at 249. But if this is going to be bouncing, I should get off the offer of Rivian and just play it safe. Wait for this to start cresting out before we get short on Rivian. Don't want Tesla breaking out the top, and then you're trying to short Rivian. So it's really just Palantir with Indo trying to hold the bid as oil futures slow down a little bit after all that geopolitical mess. So 36.50 is the line we want to buy on Palantir there. See if we can play back into the 70s. It's been a weak morning so far, but if you've been, you had to flip over into the trend, either join energy names long or join everything else short. I say that, but you could trade Lockheed Martin if you want to. I just figure $3 energy stock versus $500 name with $2 spread like an LMT. Never going to be something I would trade. Probably good for you options guys as well. D-Loaf says check Hood. It was a news story on Hood this morning. Double top breakdown on the daily, 22.23. You should keep it on the radar. There was they added some services. I don't forget exactly what it was in Europe. So there was a bit of a positive story on Robinhood. I haven't looked at these guys in a hot minute. So 22.23 you say for a double top breakdown. Yikes. 22.20. Oh, you mean like a flat bottom break? Okay, yeah. I wasn't sure what you meant by that, but you mean a flat bottom break here. There's one wick underneath at 22.20, but absolutely that looks like a flat bottom break here on Robinhood. Down 4% already. No, that's 100%. D-Loaf. I'm glad you spotted this one here because, yeah, I like that break on Robinhood. Long consolidation, failed off the highs, double tap 24. You have a weak market. You got a lot going on here. And there's not even a green candle on this on the 15-minute. It's a straight shot down. 22.20 looks like the bottom here for that flat bottom break on Hood.
Dara?
Whoops.
DXY actually finding nice support now, not one, but two green candles on the daily chart, trying to take out this previous level of chop here at that, just above that 101 area. Of course, the key area here for the DXY is going to be 101.75. Right now, we're just below 101.20. So this move up in the DXY could be a little bit motivated by what we have going on geopolitically and in the world. We, of course, have tensions between Israel and Iran continuing to escalate over there. Some strikes apparently imminent. Also, we have the port strike going on as well, impacting a lot of operations in the coast and set to, at least from what's being expected to impact the U.S. economy pretty significantly. So DXY, regardless of what happens here, we never broke below that 100 level, now back above 101. Economic data we got today as well. JOLTS job openings higher than expected, 8.04 million versus 7.693 million expected. We also had a higher than expected S&P manufacturing PMI, lower than expected ISM manufacturing PMI, and construction spending numbers. In terms of other economic data today, no major prints, but we have Fed's Bostic and Cook speaking at 11 a.m. Then after the close, 6:15 p.m., we get Fed's Bostic again, along with Barkin and Collins. So Fed speak, this whole week looks like this is on the horizon. We have at least one Fed speaker a day for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Let's see if this moves the market in addition to all of the other things we have going on right now, guys.
All right. Yeah, we talked about a little bit about Endo there, a little bit of a lesser name here. I've just been on Google, Nvidia, the triple Qs, and Alibaba today, and we're making some money back here on Google. Again, but look what's happening right now as we zoom in a little bit to it. You're just trying to ride this 50-period moving average. I like that. I like that it's holding it, but very, very close. I'm not going to reload anything to the long side until we get a lot lower than where we are right now. I mean, loading something up now and waiting for this bottom is disaster waiting to strike. So I am not going to do that. It will be a negative day for me today, but again, a lot better. The fact that we were able to pick up that Google, a lot better than it could have been if we had sort of been stubborn about this play as well with Nvidia. But let's just take a look at some other names to see if there's something that might be going. So Meta, again, Meta's been a pretty strong play for us. Not for us, but for the market. We haven't really traded too much Meta. It's been holding out well, up now 0.87. So this is a name that we should probably put some more respect on. I mean, today, look at the chart. It's respect for sure. But just looking at what we've been doing here on Meta, it's been holding. So again, it's not really like at a breakout level, but I think if you could get back into here, 75, maybe there's something there. So let's not sleep on that offer there, 75, or bid, sorry, 75, in case it comes back down. I'd rather it just sort of like take its time to get down here than anything else, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So that would be my best bet, would be that just sort of drifts and we can average in, then it holds, then it goes. But you're going to need the market to go. I'm not like necessarily hearing any huge news here. The NASDAQ went to the 50 period and faded out. We missed that trade. We should have been on that. Fortunately, we were sort of hoping that Google long was going to continue to go, but we should have just stuck with, again, something that is my best stock today is the TQQs. So we should have just stayed with that. We were long early, then short, and it's right into there. That 68.25 would have been good. The Yemen Houthis are now, Houthis are talking right now, and they're just hearing it in our ear. So yeah, there is still more unsettledness here with Israel, Lebanon, and so on and so forth, Palestine. And I don't want to misreport anything, but yeah, look up the news.
No, I mean, the negative news. Negative news still coming in there, and the market's looking relatively weak. I want to get to good news. Thank you to Nick Dubs for the super chat in here. So thoughts on MGNI, dip buy on the extended time frame. Meta looks great too. So we've been through like Meta relatively strong. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, the market's not great, but Meta has looked relatively strong. I'm not going to disagree with that at all. So this is an advertising firm that, to be honest, I don't really know too much about, but look, it's dumped down 15% today. So again, you're looking for an SSR bounce. Typically speaking, if I'm trading something for an SSR bounce, I want it to be a name that people are really, really interested in and is heavily day traded, so you get that kind of rubber band action. It did already bounce the daily chart off this 200 period once, going back into, what is this, like August, like 8th or whatever that is, I suppose. And it's trying to do the same thing here. So you got the right level. I just don't want an SSR bounce in something like as a trade in a stock that's not more heavily traded or interested. So it's got the right level on it. It's already made that bounce. Like technically speaking, there's your wick bottom, there's your higher low. So the whole dip into VWAP thing is set up. If this same thing happens to like Rivian or something, which is going to do much more volume or just have the better moves, I probably would take the trade. But I like that. I like the idea. That's generally what I'd look for when a stock is down over 10%. I just don't know this stock very well. Usually we do that on things that we actually know and trade. But yeah, it is a candidate. It's a 50-period moving average. It's already made a higher low. It's SSR down that 16%. Outside of that, I don't know anything else about the name. Palantir just retested the 50 level, 3650 that is. I always do that. Go from a NASDAQ symbol to a New York and hit enter way too fast. So there it's attempting to bounce, but I can want it to hold this higher low, but it doesn't mean it has to hold this higher low. So I'm just looking for a nice green candle like it did last time when it made a bit of a bottom and then try to go long off of that. So it's trying to hold up here. I mean, this will conclude in a couple of minutes. Intel, which we like to the south side, is not really giving us that breakdown underneath the bottoms. Might have to just wait. It's now broken the trend, but not going up. So got to look for a consolidation, a type of short. And Indo, which has been a good long a couple of times here.
Sipping on it, baby.
I know it's hilarious because that name, it just makes me think of Snoop Dogg too, like a lot of other people. It's allergic to VWAP. And allergic to VWAP above it means it's been a good long. So I keep thinking we're going to get VWAP, and just like in here before, like it worked early, you were getting bounces directly off VWAP, but just because it worked early doesn't mean it's going to work late. The last couple of times, it's been like 10, 15 cents above that, maybe even 20, where you've had to get in, because there goes another run, 60% up on this thing. So if it's the runner today, you just got to try to join it one more time here. Looks like maybe the 355 level is going to be the place to be. Smoking on that Indo, although this is not that type of a name. It's just an energy name.
Indonesian there.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, we took advantage of that Google play. It just ripped up and we got 59s there or something like that. So, you know, what's been doing this? Any kind of a move up we should take. So that was 59s. So good out for us. I'm pretty much done right now. I'm going to relax, probably chill out, see what Adam's up to. and then just give the wife a call and then come back and just settle this down, the market right now. I feel like it's still a short, but at the same time, we could have a little bit of a rally move. I'm comfortable holding on to this one. Our stop on Google will still be back down into here. The low of the day, if it breaks 75 is when we're going to get out. So that's not even really the low. The low is, I guess we might as well change it now. 60s basically, but I don't know if we're getting there. It's just that would be a trade for me. I kind of want to hold on to Google. I don't have any more offers. I actually do at 166. So if we get up to there, fine. But if this market rallies, I'm happy with this name. So let's leave it at that and see if there's going to be any more possibility there. Thank you, Bears versus Bulls, for the kind words. Again, you know, I'll be red here. Wow, Tesla's really bad. I mean, who knows if we'll be red or not? I mean, let's just hope that Google can come back up. But right now, Tesla, what a move off 249. I can't believe when I even said it, I was like, Tesla's at 249. That seemed absolutely ridiculous. Nice move back up. The market is still bleeding. We're still down 1.6, but wow, Tesla, $4 straight back to the upside. Does Nvidia have the same fate? No, only up about $1 from 117 and change. Tesla really got the energy underneath it, as did Google. I think Google, I mean, you show me a name right now that looks kind of like this, trying to hold the 50 period, potentially going higher. So we're right back into this level that we got out last time. I'm going to try to hold on here just to see if Google does extend out. Our offer is 166. That's my next offer. Let's see if we get up there. But I like Google for the long. I like everything for the long right now, but I don't love it. So for me, little hands off there. And we'll enjoy the walk. We'll enjoy some talk. And we'll get this all figured out when we come back. But again, let it settle down. A little bit of a rough morning there for the longs.
Yeah, it's like the market's still trying to hold the bottom, but it's not doing a great job. I mean, it's still just pound here 36.5. Indos, by the way, it looks like it's going to break the high before it gives me a chance to get back into it again. I don't want to take a break, but we'll let it consolidate one more time in there. And then lastly, before we throw over, Apple's starting to try to do a rounded bottom off of 225. So that's a pretty solid support level for Apple here. But there's your rounded bottom. Just needs to take out the other side, which is 225 and a half. And then it can have a chance to reverse its trend. But hey, you're going to be in good hands. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. This market is not going to sleep. But enjoy, learn to trade with Sharif and Joseph. Go get them, boys. Joseph.
Oh, where's our entry, Ram? All right. Well, what is up,
entry.
Beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That is your boy Joe over here, Ram.
Oh,
no, he's not involved.
No,
okay.
no,
I guess he's not involved
on
in the show no more. I'm Sharif, and we're going to wait for everyone to find their way on over. We have a couple of OGs.